Hello, everyone. Welcome to Narrative Dissonance here on Unsafe Space. I'm your host, Carter Laren. This is a show where we question the mainstream narrative. Not that we're being lied to or it's a propaganda machine or anything, just in case. We figured we would question it. You can watch us on unsafespace.com or on YouTube, live stream, Rumble, Odyssey. I'm probably forgetting some. Utreon? I probably didn't say Utreon. You can follow us on Twitter at _unsafespace. Don't forget to share this content or any unsafe space content with friends. It really does help. YouTube is actively trying to suppress our content. We're pretty, I would say we're 99% sure of that, given some tests that we've run. So, yeah, word of mouth is all we've got. So please share it. And if you like it, consider heading over to unsafespace.com and supporting us financially. Our next book club is August 14th. I don't have the book with me, but it's Fossil Future by Alex Epstein. I'm the host for that book club, so you got plenty of time to read it. I think it's an easy read. You got a month, so go check that out. There's a link on our website in the book club section to the book, so you can go get it there if you want. Also, tomorrow, I think we've got a live 451 Degrees with Alex Maselli. Another Rebel Civics, I think, this week, although I don't know if it's live. But that's on Wednesday. Dangerous Thoughts on Wednesday evening. Token Minority Report, Beverly's Birthday Bash on Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific. So check all that stuff out. And Beverly, what's the other thing I'm supposed to say?
Yeah, you forgot already. We just started a Discord bad movie club. So we just watched the Karen film Saturday night. And that was terrible.
You did? You watched the Karen?
Yeah.
I wanted to. Oh, wait, I did watch that. It's horrible.
It's horrible.
Had I known, I'd have joined. I didn't even know you were doing that.
You got to pay attention to the Discord, Carter. I tag everybody in there. But I think our next one, I think we're going to be doing, it's the 1980 film Roadie. And it's going to be July 31st, Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
So,
and this is for people in the Discord.
In our Discord server, yes. All so if you're a part of that, then come join us. And yeah, I'll tag you directly, Carter, since you never look at the Discord.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
I sometimes do. She's totally lying. Today we've got two repeat guests whom I think are both. Maybe these two ladies are the most loved guests we have. I'm not sure, but if they're not, they're up towards the top. Please welcome Elle, whom all of you know. She's your favorite bitch at SomeBitch Media. You can follow her at Gab at SomeBitchIKnow. You can go to SomeBitchToldMe.com. She's, I don't know. I've said her bio so many times, I don't feel like repeating it, but she does amazing work, lots of deep research, uncovers stuff that the mainstream media doesn't want to be uncovered, and she's known for citing your sources or getting the fuck out. So, welcome, Elle. How you doing?
Hi. I'm great. I'm posting that we're live now. No, I know that we're live. I know we're live. Yeah, I know. I showed up at like the last second. I tried to put a braid in my hair. It didn't really work out. So that was what I was doing. So I wish I had a better excuse for
I was going to say something about your hair and how horrific it was, but I know better.
Thank you. No, the reason why it's like it is kind of messed up on the side. So like, well, if I just like put like a braid in it, it'll kind of look more like intentional. And it's like it is what it is. It's done. But anyways, hi everybody.
Well,
look,
Elle. The good news is most viewers who are male are not going to notice at all. But Megan might have something to say about your hair.
That's all right.
So let's welcome Megan.
Wow,
Fox.
just like the patriarchy to pit two women against each other, Carter.
That's right. We're going to pit you both. Yeah, Megan's going to diss your hair. She's an award-winning journalist, broadcaster, and author of Believe Evidence, The Death of Due Process from Salome to Me Too, and Shut Up the Bizarre War that one public library waged against the First Amendment. You can follow her on Twitter at Megan Fox Writer, on Gab at Megan Fox, or on PJ Media. There's a Megan Fox page. We'll put links to all the stuff below. Megan, what do you think of her hair, Megan?
I am a fan of the ponytail,
girl.
Frankly, I am a fan.
You know,
you will never catch me.
Entails.
I sure do, and you will never catch me dissing another woman's hair on unless that woman is on
the patriarchy tried. I mean, we did our best.
If that woman is like Anna Kasparian, I will for sure bitch about her hair. Yes, but other than that, probably not.
I say that, but I had a whole segment on a stream one time that went on for entirely too long, where I took a bunch of like the blunt bangs that like stop like right here. I took like 15 of those pictures and like rated them all, and like so I actually have done that, but that was then and this is now. We don't make fun of each other's hair, Carter.
I'm too absorbed with my own hair and how it looks on a daily basis that I can't really pay attention to anyone else's.
When I live in Alabama, it's too humid. It's just you just try to make it work with what you got.
Well, I definitely noticed every nuance and different hairstyle you've ever had. So, and I am particularly fond of this particular nuance, which is different in the obvious way. Okay. That's
a good effort. Good effort, Carter.
Megan, let's start with you. We only have Megan for an hour, so because Megan is going on InfoWars after this, which
that's pretty
InfoWars cool. Does trump unsafe space, so rightly so. Megan, what's the mainstream media been misleading us about lately, and
nothing really. They're just so honest and credible that there's just nothing to report. No, okay, so let's start from the beginning, shall we, Carter? Because I have not had any time to actually get on my own YouTube channel and update my channel. So I shared this video today hoping they would watch.
Oh, good.
I've had no time because I've been completely bombarded by both barrels of the left pointed at me for the last, I don't know, since July 9th now.
What'd you do?
Yeah, because you tried to do journalism.
Because I tried to do the job that the mainstream press refuses to do. So let's just go back to the beginning, shall we? On July 1st, the Indianapolis Star printed this story. It had this innocuous kind of like anecdotal, vague report in it that a 10-year-old rape victim had to leave the state of Ohio. And let me read exactly what it said. This was the only thing the Indianapolis Star printed. Hours after the Supreme Court action, talking about Roe, the Buckeye State had outlawed any abortion after 6 weeks. Now, this doctor had a 10-year-old patient in the office who was 6 weeks and 3 days pregnant. Could Bernard help? Literally, that's all it said. Okay. So I'm like,
was there, and there was no like reference. News doesn't usually do that, but there's no like link to, hey, here's the information.
No, it was one source, okay, and the source was Dr. Caitlin Bernard, who, as I did some research into her that day, when I saw this, I was like, I don't know, this seems iffy. Right after Roe, they've got this like extremely horrific story, and there's no corroboration of it. It's one source. I look into Caitlin Bernard. Sure enough, she's an activist. She's not only an abortionist, but she's an activist. She has never met a camera she didn't like. She's never met a media person she didn't like and want to talk to about her current goals of getting more second trimester abortions and dismemberment abortions allowed. And that for real is her specialty. That's what she likes to do, is tear little babies limb from limb, and she wants that to be legal. So
she doesn't like the first trimester stuff where it's clean. She really likes the messy.
She really likes that. Yeah, she sued the state of Indiana
that's
so
normal.
that they couldn't stop her from doing dismemberment abortions. And that's what I found through my research. I'm like, this woman is not what I would consider to be a highly credible source, because did they check what she said was accurate? Did anybody look for, reports in police reports, for instance, because the rape of a 10-year-old resulting in a pregnancy is a real crime, like a serious crime, and there should be an investigation. There should be DCFS or CPS reports. There should be records.
Well, she would have an obligation to report it if she heard about it, right?
Which is what I said. I said she's a mandated reporter. So is the other doctor in Ohio who allegedly told this woman she had this patient and she needed to see her. So there should be 2 sets of reports. I start digging into where are these reports. I start sending FOIAs to law enforcement in Indiana and law enforcement in Ohio. I'm checking all over the place, so can't find anything. But of course, they didn't give us a location, so it was difficult. My thread questioning this, and I never said this is for sure a hoax. I said it looks like a hoax. It has all the earmarks of a hoax. And when I'm reporting on hoax stories, these are the things I look for. Within 5 days, this one little blurb that we just read to you went so viral. It went all the way around the world, to Jerusalem, to the UK. It was in The Guardian, Yahoo News, MSNBC. It was in so many different news sources. And none of those places did any of their own investigating to corroborate this story. None of them said anything about the rapist. None of them said anything about the crime, or how is the girl, or where is she, and who is helping her. None of that was in the reports. It was simply used to push a pro-abortion agenda, and look at how terrible life is now that Roe has been overturned. So because of seeing how that happened, my red flags went off. My spidey sense goes off. It says, there's something wrong here. So I'm asking the questions. And at no time in my original thread did I say, this is obviously false. I said, it's very suspect. The veracity of this needs to be confirmed. It goes very viral. The Washington Post, Glenn Kessler, tries to corroborate the story. He takes all my research and calls it his own, but that's okay. I forgive him 100%. You know why? Because he got hammered just as hard as I did. So welcome to the club, Glenn. Now you know how it feels. But Glenn Kessler goes and tries to corroborate the story. He can't do it. And here's why. He calls all the same people I do, except he actually got Columbus police on the phone, and they told him on July 9th or 8th. He called them around the 8th or 9th. He didn't say what day, but it had to have been right around that time. They told him no, they didn't have a report. Well, that's false. They had a report on June 22nd, and we find that out later, but we're not there yet. He calls. He can't get any corroboration. He has tried to find a police report. He did all the same thing that I did. And he couldn't, and he came up with the same conclusion. This story cannot be corroborated. But he concluded, but it has it's got this truthiness thing because it's been reported so many times. So it appears to be fact-based because so many people, including the president of the United States, has used this poor rape victim as a political weapon against enemies. And so he says, well, it seems true because it's been repeated.
Can I just read his thing? Because I love how bad it is. He says, this is the bottom. It says the bottom line. This is in a Washington Post. This is the bottom of his story. I'm quoting him. With news reports around the globe and now a presidential imprimatur, however, this is after he says, sorry, let me start before this. This is a very difficult story to check. Bernard is on the record, but obtaining documents or other confirmation is all but impossible without details that would identify the locality where the rape occurred. So he's saying, there's no corroboration here at all. At all. Then he says, however, I can't believe this sentence is
I know.
However, the story has acquired the status of a fact, no matter its provenance.
What?
Provenance. I don't know how you say that. Provenance.
Yes. How do you?
Is it provenance? I'm trying to be French about it. Okay.
How do you?
It's origin, basically.
How do you establish that? How does something acquire being a truth? That doesn't make any sense with no corroboration. Anyway, that was all I pointed out, that this story cannot be corroborated. So how can we just be repeating it as truth without corroboration? Now, listen, Kessler reached out to Dr. Bernard. So did I. So did the Wall Street Journal. So did a bunch of different huge news organizations, not just PJ Media, which you should all be reading, by the way, pjmedia.com. Please go find me there. It was big organizations who tried to contact this doctor, not to ask her anything, identifying about the patient. The only question to her was, when did you put in your required legal reports? You should have done a mandated report, and you have to do a termination of pregnancy report to any underage child to the state of Indiana. When was that done? Did you do it? And what day? She could have said, I did it. And I did it on July 2nd, which is when she did it. She didn't. She let the entire media think that she would not answer the question. She kept saying, I have no information on this to everyone. That's what she said. So the whole weekend goes by and this thing starts roiling. It is now all of conservative press is now feeling what they're feeling okay to say. Yeah, we thought there was something wrong with this story in the first place, and we think you're using it as a political weapon. So prove us wrong. Right. I get a call on Sunday. They want me to go on Jesse Waters to talk about this. I have no idea that the Attorney General of Ohio is scheduled to come on right after me. I have no idea. I mean, this got so big, so quick, no clue. I say, of course, I'm going to go. Fox News calls. I go. They send a car. It's all very exciting. So I go down to the station. I do my interview, and same thing. I say the same thing I've been saying the whole time, which is this is not corroborated. It has a lot of red flags. Our journalism should be better than this. Journalism should check the facts and should. Oh, and the Indy Star wouldn't respond. They wouldn't respond to me. They wouldn't respond to Fox News. They told Fox News to basically pound sand. They said our reporting speaks for itself. And I'm like,
what does that have to,
what does that even mean?
Yeah. It doesn't, it's not clear. They said it was clear. Our reporting is perfectly clear. No, it's not perfectly clear. You wouldn't even tell people. We weren't asking you for the information you had, if you had a big scoop or whatever. We asked you to tell us how you verified this story. I would have settled for the Indianapolis Star reporter editor whose name is Bro Crift. I would have settled for Bro telling me I saw the reports myself. Okay, fine. Right. Bro says he saw him, so that means he has them, so they must exist. I would have accepted that. No, he didn't do that. He wouldn't even respond to me. So I go on, and please remember, this is the same media that did the thing with Jussie Smollett. Thank you for bringing that up, G-Man, and for your super chat. Thank you for bringing that up. Doesn't matter if it's fake as long as it's in the name of social justice. Jussie Smollett, the media ran with his account of that story, totally uncritical of him, and just repeated it as fact all over the place. This is the same thing they did with this story, and it matters that they didn't corroborate it, and it matters that I caught them not corroborating it, and they can't say otherwise because they didn't. Anyway, I go on Jesse, we talk about this. I get off the air, and I'm watching on the monitor. I'm still in the studio, and here comes the Attorney General of Ohio. Oh my God, they got the AG. I'm dying. I was like yelling, screaming at the screen. Oh my God, here it comes. Because I knew for a fact that he was probably running around Ohio trying to find this account. So I knew he was going to have something.
Right, yeah.
I'm not going to go on Fox News without having something. And he says exactly what I thought. I've asked everybody I know, prosecutors, sheriffs, all my law enforcement people, to give me this report if they have it. I don't even have a whisper of it. That's what he says. So now conservative press goes crazy. Now it's like, well, if the
I remember that was the inflection point of it. Like it went like
it. And it's totally understandable. It's totally understandable for people to go, all right, stick it in the hoax category. Because if the Attorney General of the state, the top cop, has no idea, that doesn't have any report and has asked for it, then we should put this in the hoax category. Now, what happens? OMG. I wake up on Tuesday morning. And not only has there been an arrest in this case, but it's an illegal alien who is in a sanctuary city in Columbus. And I'm like, and now the entire left-wing media is focused both barrels on me, calling me a liar, calling me a rape victim shamer, and fuck you all, okay? Because all I did was say, why didn't you ask who is the rapist? Where is the rapist? How come this story is about Roe? How come this story is about abortion rights? Why isn't this story about a little girl who was raped by someone, and you could give two shits about what's going to happen to her? Clearly, because none of you reported on it. None of you bothered to check the police reports. And if the Indianapolis Star had it, if they had those police reports and they knew there was somebody under investigation for this and they didn't share it with the public, what does that make them? Is it because he's an illegal alien that they didn't share it? Or did they not have it? Did they not know? I don't know, because it's not like they're going to tell me.
Yeah. Do we know anything now about what people may or may not have known beforehand? Like, is there any information that's come out other than this guy was arrested? And
yes. Okay. So continuing to do what I do, despite the massive amount of pressure in the New York Times and Rolling Stone writing nasty and untrue things about me. Thanks, by the way, for the weight loss, because I needed to lose some weight, and I lost 8 pounds in a week over this. I have finally discovered the secret to losing weight. Oh, it is. It absolutely is. When you lose your ability to eat food, you start losing weight. It's incredible. It works every time. I highly recommend being targeted by the New York Times and Rolling Stone for weight loss. And I'd say, keep it coming. I need to lose 20 more. Please keep it coming. All right. So where was I? What was I?
Awesome.
So here's the thing. I'm living on caffeine and like ADD meds at this point. It's okay.
Hey,
I'm gonna get through. It. But here's the thing. All of you, a bunch of you who keep putting comments on my YouTube channel, asking me, when am I going to apologize for getting it wrong? Yeah. How about never? Here's the answer I have for you. I will never, ever apologize for forcing lazy, corrupt journalists to get off their asses and do their jobs. If they had done their job in the first place, we wouldn't be here. And by the way, they had every opportunity to tell you that an illegal alien raped that kid, and they didn't. And you need to ask them that question. How come you didn't tell us that an illegal alien raped this kid? You Indianapolis Star, you Columbus Dispatch, who supposedly clearly had the inside line that they wouldn't give anybody else. They clearly got tipped off. They got tipped off at the arraignment. They got tipped off, and nobody else was at the arraignment. And then that Columbus Dispatch journalist who was in the courtroom goes on Twitter and mocks other journalists for not being in the courtroom. And I'm like, listen, bitch, nobody was allowed to be there. Did you tell anybody that this was happening? No, we didn't know it was happening. Nobody gave anybody. The Washington Post didn't even know it was happening. Like, this is just absurd. They know for a fact they must have had an inside line on this somehow. I don't know through who and I don't know through what, but to get on Twitter and start mocking other journalists for not being in a courtroom when the information is not being made available, it's just stupid. It's totally stupid. Okay, so new stuff. Yes. So now that we know there was a rape, and now that we know the girl is actually real, it makes the story 1,000 times worse because Dr. Caitlin Bernard and the Indianapolis Star used a real rape victim, a real child rape victim, to push a pro-abortion narrative. They used her as a political weapon. Gosh, that's horrible. My brain didn't even go there. I thought, well, this has to be a hoax because nobody in their right mind would use a real child victim. Right? But they did. So we know that's true. The second one is, the second question and the thing that came up is, so I have now been trying to find out, I'm pivoting. So now I'm pivoting because I'm a journalist. So I'm going to follow the story wherever it goes. So listening to anybody saying to me, oh, well, now you care about this victim. Listen, I cared from the beginning, and it was in all my reporting that I said, if there is a victim, we should be finding out who this rapist is. We should be hunting down, there should be a statewide manhunt for the rapist. This is a story about child rape. It is not a story about abortion. Okay, because, so new news today. I'm sorry, I keep trying to get there. I wrote an article today on, Carter's like, what, just giving up his entire show to me.
It's all good. I mean, whatever.
Honestly, I
said
follow
you could hold
it
the whole show.
I follow it like perfectly. So you're like, I'm with you, girl. Keep going. This is fascinating.
All right. So today I write an article because the Columbus Dispatch puts out this new article this morning. And in their report, they just kind of quietly admit that the Indianapolis Star's original reporting was wrong. Listen to what the Columbus Dispatch had to say. Let me get to where their quote is here. It is, the Columbus Dispatch is doing like an update on what do we know now. Here's what they said. Ohio law does not make any exceptions for rape or incest, but does allow exceptions for the health of the mother. Because of the girl's age, Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost said the girl would have fallen under the exemption. Yeah, so get this. The Attorney General on Fox News on Monday, after saying, I don't know if this is real because I've got no report, but if it was real, she didn't have to leave Ohio. It was huge. We then go into the law, like we're a bunch of us at PJ Media, we're going into the law, we're calling our Ohio representatives, we're figuring it out, like what is the deal? Would this have been covered? And the very first thing I find out that shows that Dr. Caitlin Bernard was not being very forthcoming or the Indianapolis Star didn't do their homework was she said that she was 6 weeks and 3 days over. The law does not have a 6-week ban. The law is not about weeks. It is about fetal heartbeat detection. So right there, that was inaccurate in the Indianapolis Star's reporting. It was inaccurate. The law says that when a fetal heartbeat is detected, then you can't get an abortion unless, and there's many exceptions, the health and safety of the mother, and here's the one that it would have fallen under. You're looking at it right now. I think I put it in the gray box right there. Do you see where it says define serious risk? So the Attorney General put out a clarification because everyone was accusing him of saying this law wouldn't apply. The italicized language is crucial. As another provision, the law defines serious risk of the substantial and irreversible impairment of a major bodily function to mean any medically diagnosed condition that so complicates the pregnancy of the woman as to directly or indirectly cause the substantial and irreversible impairment of a major bodily function. Let's just stop right there. A 10-year-old is not physically capable, I don't think, of carrying a baby, and any doctor could make the call that it could seriously impair her future.
No one would prosecute a doctor for doing this.
No one.
Yeah.
No one. And every Ohio politicians we've talked to, including the Attorney General, they have all said this child is the exemption. So there is no proof that anyone would have gone after an Ohio doctor for doing this. And I have a question. Why didn't the Ohio doctor fight for her patient? Why didn't he or she test the law? If the abortion activists are so worried about this would have been the perfect test case in Ohio to bring a lawsuit against the state for this law, right?
Right. If she really had to cross state lines, this was the opportunity to fight and show that it was a problem, and they didn't.
But they didn't. They took her to Indiana, I believe, in order to make this a story about, oh, how terrible it is. And also, there's some question, too, about the gestational age of the pregnancy, because according to some calculations, I had a nurse contact me and say, I did the calculations based on the reporting that Dr. Bernard did, and it looks to me like they should have placed her the pregnancy at 4 weeks, not 6. So if it were at 4 weeks, it's even earlier, no heartbeat. That's like, it's a gimme. Right. And no one, and at least here's a good thing about this. We all found out that neither Republicans nor Democrats, that all of us agree on one thing, which is that a 10-year-old rape victim who's pregnant is the exception to any abortion restriction ever made. No one has said, not one person has said, oh yeah, she should be forced to go through a pregnancy despite whatever risk to her own health there may be. Come on. Yeah. And that's the other, I'm getting some idiots just saying that I haven't made my position clear. Well, I'm making it clear right now. I'm completely okay with the doctor treating this patient in this case. I am completely okay with the exception being what it is and being this particular patient. But I am not okay with the lazy bullshit journalism that was done on this reporting in the first place. And thank God I asked some questions, because now we know that an illegal alien is the one responsible or allegedly responsible for this crime. And we need to now look closer into Columbus and their sanctuary city policies and what the hell was happening in this household. So that brings me to article number 2 that I
was he in the household with them?
Let's get into that, shall we? Oh. Because yes,
do I want to know?
Yeah. The mother, now Telemundo, everybody please go to Telemundo on Twitter or wherever and give them a like and a thumbs up and a share and a whatever, because Telemundo is doing the work that our media will not do. So good for Telemundo, because they're actually knocking on the door of this woman. They find her, they find the mother and interview her. She tells them he's her boyfriend and that he didn't do it. She thinks he's totally innocent. Now that brings up a problem. The police testified on Wednesday at the hearing that this mother is the one who brought the complaint to Franklin County Children's Services, FCCS. That's what they said on the stand. Now mom is telling Telemundo she didn't do that. She didn't report this. So now the question becomes, where are the children? It's not just the rape victim, but she has other children in the house. She was living in the house with Fuentes. The guy's name is Gerson Fuentes, who was arrested, and the police say he confessed. Mom was living in the same house with him and the children. When did FCCS take custody of the children, if they even did? I can't get an answer from Franklin County Children's Services about this. There is a very big story here that if the media had actually done their digging, they would have found. And it's a story of government corruption, police, and possibly dropping the ball on this rape victim who was pregnant. Why did the police get this account on June 22, but they didn't make an arrest until July 12th, the day after the Fox News media blitz? They were told on July 6th from the child herself who did this to her. They waited 6 more days before they arrested this guy. Were they trying to, did they think the prosecutor wouldn't go after him because he's an illegal? Was the media hiding the fact that this guy's an illegal alien like they do with all these? I mean, follow Ann Coulter's reporting on that. The media is in a complete state of denial when it comes to illegal alien crime. They refuse to even tell us. And here's how you know. When they reported this guy in all the major media, they described him as a Columbus man.
I saw that.
Of course.
I feel like I've been talking for far too long. Someone say something.
No, I mean, I think you're spot on with this, right? And the frustrating thing here, Megan, is that you seem like you're the lone voice. Like there's no one in the mainstream media asking these questions. There's no one actually doing this. I mean, I guess Telemundo, right?
Telemundo's doing it.
In the English-speaking mainstream media, no one's doing anything here.
Yeah, and also a couple of different people like Newsbusters has been doing good work on this, and so other conservative media is kind of jumping in. Fox is still reporting on it. Fox News is reporting on it. Fox 59 in Indiana is doing good work on it. They uncovered the reports finally. Angela Ganote, she's a reporter there on the ground in Indiana. She's been doing an excellent job, and I do usually find that local reporters do better work. The Indianapolis Star, by the way, is owned by a big corporate conglomerate called Gannett Corp. And they also
heard of them. They own a lot of papers.
They own the Columbus Dispatch too. Does that, so if that means anything. So they are not technically like on the ground local. And if you notice, one of the other major red flags that tipped me off in the very beginning that there was something wrong with this story was that the local reporters in Ohio were not reporting this story. So local ABC, NBC, CBS, which are usually much better than the national press, they were not reporting the story. Why? Why weren't they reporting the story? Somebody needs to ask them. How come it was the Indianapolis Star, an Indianapolis paper that broke this story, and then they never followed up on it in Ohio? That was another red flag. It was like, if this really happened, it would be all over the local news. Well, now it is because there's been an arrest, so you can corroborate it. That's what I was looking for, was the corroboration. And then I'm also getting criticism that I'm somehow invading the privacy of this child. Caitlin Bernard did that. Caitlin Bernard brought this child into the national spotlight, into the international spotlight. She did that. Now that it's out there, we have to go ahead.
No, that's the question. So my thing is like the beginning of this, right? So Caitlin Bernard, it says in the beginning of the article, has a colleague, a child abuse doctor in Ohio. So this tells me that there's a network of these ready for media activist medical type, like the Liana Wins and such, you know, the frequent contributor, because as you were pulling up all the articles where she shows up and she's in it all the time, right?
All the time.
So she's got this network of doctors around the country, presumably at least one, that are dealing with some of the most heinous and delicate crimes against children, presumably other things as well. And they're just waiting on the turn of, you know, like at the drop of a hat, as soon as you're like, oh, this one's going to do numbers. Like they use it for their little blurb. And then, because I mean, I don't know the like readership of the like Indy Star. I don't know like how many people read this on a daily basis. Like the fact that this little blurb had the capacity to go viral so quickly. Like this was planted here, and then some like subsequent media machine took it out and like put it elsewhere. Because again, Indie Star, a weird place for it to land. So like I'm wondering about this. Like I bet if you go back,
maybe we should look and see. Maybe we should look and see. Is Gannett Corp
how often does she show up? How often does she show up in an article?
So I can show you Gannett. I've got Gannett right
like
here.
Here, let me share.
Gannett owns USA Today.
Do we know who the doctor is from Ohio now?
And they own here. I've got them all right here. Hold on.
Look at I've also shared. I want to show you my spreadsheet too when you get a second.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So if you can look, so here's own USA Today, and if you can scroll down to Ohio, right?
Yeah. Now,
here's
for some
all the
reason,
papers they own in
the
Ohio.
Indianapolis Star was not listed on there when I looked at it last, but it is part of the.
It is now, yeah.
Is it on there on Indiana?
The Indianapolis Star.
Okay, there it is. All right, good. All right, so yeah. I think maybe we need to look at, if you want to pull up what I just shared on the with you on the screen. This was I'm keeping archives of every single media article I can find. Now, if you look at the top here, this is starting in 2017. This is Dr. Caitlin Bernard in the media about abortion. So she was talking to the New York Times in 2017. In 2018, she's got her women's health page up. 2019, she was talking about her lawsuit about dismemberment abortions. 2022, now it begins the media blitz. On 6/24, she was in the center square. On 6/27, she was on Fox 59, all about Roe Doomsday, WFYI, Roe Doomsday, WRTV, Roe Doomsday. Indiana lawyer files injunction against Bernard's suit. 6/29, Politico. She's in Politico on 6/29, and then boom, Indianapolis Star on July 1st, pregnant 10-year-old. Now you can follow the pregnant 10-year-old story. It gets into the Daily Mail, Yahoo News, the Daily Beast, the Huffington Post, The Hill, Newsweek, Politico, Mother Jones, The Guardian, TMZ, MSNBC, Washington Post, Michigan Advance, and the Republic. That was all in the Herald Bulletin within 5 days. And that's not even all of them. I didn't get all of them. Some people told me they found sources in Jerusalem and stuff. So we should find out if any of these publications are owned
they usually pick up,
or connected to Gannett, right?
Gannett. Oh, yeah.
Sure they are.
Maybe that's,
their
that's how it
here
spread.
Let's see.
I mean, they've got what? Yeah, they've got Cincinnati Enquirer, Indianapolis Star, Detroit Free Press, Florida Times Union. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and let you know, Megan, you and I are going to be very good friends because you and I have a very similar work style. And I'm like getting very excited because I don't see people make spreadsheets.
Look at this. And so I haven't, this is not complete.
Megan,
no. Oh, yeah. No, this is.
Look how it starts changing.
Get me all excited.
Look how it starts changing. So women are going to die, self-abortions, pregnant 10-year-old. Now here's in the Spectator, a skeptical piece on the 9th. Of course, I wrote mine on the 8th. So mine came out on the 8th. Here's one on the 9th. Hit piece on me in the New York Times. Fact check in the Washington Post. Associated
Who wrote
Press.
your hit piece? Who was the author? Was it Davy? She did mine.
I don't know. Oh, you got written about in the New York Times?
Is the hit piece on you before the guy was arrested?
No, it was after. It was after.
Oh, okay.
It was written by Michelle Goldberg.
Oh.
But you know what's funny about this is that what she said about me, where did it go? Let's see. Let's find what she said exactly. Because I remember reading it and laughing out loud. Going, this is it? This is all? Oh, did she take, what the heck? Where did it go? Where did it go? Well, now I don't know. It's not right in front of me, so I can't find it because it's too long of a piece. But the Rolling Stone article that they wrote about me was hilarious also. Let me see if I can pull that up and share it with you because that was funny. Hold on. I like the Rolling Stone one because the thing they said about me, I'm like, well, that makes me look awesome. Here, let's get that on the screen. And I was like, I don't know what they were trying to do there because I'm completely okay with that. Here, I'll share this with you. This is an article by Nikki McCann, and it's called conservatives called an Ohio rape case fake news. Now an arrest has been made. Like, oh, okay. So just because before anyone would corroborate the story, but listen, look at this. This is funny. All right, I'm sharing it with you. So here it is. And of course, they've got a picture of Nikki, or what's her name? Kristi Noem, because they went after her with this as a thing. All right. The narrative exploded after a July 5 viral Twitter thread by Megan Fox, a writer at right-wing outfit PJ Media, claiming the timing of this horrific story
gotta have those adjectives
is too on the nose. I don't see what's wrong with that. Like, it was on the nose. I don't see and questioning why sources were unwilling to publicly disclose sensitive information regarding the rape of a child. I'm sorry, ma'am. Is the rapist sensitive information? Is the fact that an illegal alien raped her sensitive? Because I don't think it is. It's public
corroboration from authorities, right?
All you needed was someone to say, we saw the reports, the end, and you would have been fine.
Exactly. That's all we wanted. That's all the Washington Post wanted. That's all I wanted, but nobody would say it. Now look at this. Look at this at the end here. She says, wait, where did it go? She does one more dig at me, and it's funny. Crap, where did it go? I'll do a command find. Right. There's one. Where's the next one? No, that's Fox News. Fox News. Megan Fox, the right-wing writer. I can't even say that. Say that 6 times fast. That's tough. Right-wing writer, whose Twitter thread raising doubt about the story went viral, responded to the news on Wednesday by taking credit for the arrest. Would this arrest have happened if no one asked questions about the shoddy reporting of this heinous act? She wrote, "I'm glad someone was arrested." Is that supposed to make me look bad?
Yeah, I was gonna say that actually looks pretty good.
I know.
Only a fascist would put a illegal alien in jail for raping a 10-year-old.
I know. Like, what are they thinking?
Bigot.
Like, they love to say this thing that I'm taking credit for the arrest. I'm not taking credit for the arrest. You know what I'm going to take credit for right now, and I'll do it on the record. I am taking credit for forcing the media to tell you that an illegal alien raped this kid. I forced them. They had to choose between their abortion narrative or spilling the beans that it was an illegal alien rapist, and they chose the rapist. So
abortion's more important to them than protecting illegal rapists. So aliens.
So we found out what they care about more. They care more about killing babies than protecting illegal alien rapists. So that's pretty interesting. But no, this would never have come out without me asking these questions and causing the firestorm that happened. And I will never apologize for doing that. No.
Well, I mean, it's the right thing. And I just want to point out they're calling you a writer instead of a journalist, which is like, this is how they did that to Cernovich. I remember they used to do that to Cernovich. They would be like, a blogger. It's like,
I'm sorry, is this not in the Rolling Stone? Like,
right.
Wasn't it like about music at one point?
What are you in the Rolling Stone?
They were the ones that put like pictures of people like outside in like the winter during the summer, claiming people were like waiting for ivermectin, and like the people are like, these people are in coats and like literal snow. It's July. What are you doing?
Weren't they also
responsible for the Duke rape
lacrosse? Yes, Duke lacrosse. The Duke lacrosse.
Yeah, and Mattress Girl was also Rolling Stone.
Forgive me if I will not be lectured to by the Rolling Stone, who has a history of reporting fake news. You know, I will not be lectured to by these people. And thank you, Rolling Stone, for elevating my name in the press. I can't tell you, I haven't lost any followers. I'm up to like over 20,000 on Twitter now. It seems that people like real journalism. Seems like people like journalists who ask questions, and you know, these cucks in the media who want to say, oh, it's about sensitivity of the media of the child, and we can't ask questions because the government doesn't want us to. You know what? That's not journalism. I don't know what that is, but it's not journalism. So I'm going to tell you exactly though what I have done in the last day. To get, how do I stop sharing this? I'm going to tell you what I've done in the last just today to get this information confirmed about where are the children and are they safe? Because now I've been reporting on CPS and losing children and keeping kids in harm's way for over a decade. So I kind of stumbled into a story that's directly in my wheelhouse, turns out, because now DCFS, or what they call Franklin County Children's Services, involved in this. And of course, that immediately raises more red flags for me. So now that this story has changed, I'll tell you where I'm going next. Now, for those of you naysayers out there, journalism requires asking a lot of questions and theorizing a whole lot. I need to ask a lot of questions like, did this happen? Did that happen? And guess what? Some of them might not have happened, but I need to ask the questions to figure it out. Do you get it? It's like breaking a puzzle, but you have to figure it out. So, because they're not going to tell you, the government's not going to come out and tell you all the mistakes they made. You have to figure it out. So, okay, here's how I'm trying to figure it out. I sent a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information request, to the Franklin County Children's Services on the 14th of July. I asked them to please tell me if these children were taken into state custody and on what date. I want to know the timeline. I'm trying to build a timeline of events and how it happened. And I was told that they had to send my request to their legal department on the 15th. On the 16th, I followed up asking, did the legal department get this? Is anyone going to respond to me? No response. I then called I waited the weekend. I've been working on the article that published that we were just looking at. And I was waiting to hear from them before I published it. And on Monday morning, right before I went on the Glenn Beck show today, I called the legal department and I got them on the phone. And I asked them to please, I said, did you get my FOIA request? And what do you think she said? Oh, no, I don't have that, of course. So I say, okay, well, I'm forwarding it to you now. But also, this is a pretty easy question. Are the children in the custody of the state, or did you leave them with the mother who denies that this man was on top of her 10-year-old? Because that's an important question. Did the county follow Ohio child abuse protocols in this case and protect these children? She said, long pause, like super long pause. And then she goes, I don't have any information about that. And I will get back to you on your questions when I can. I say, fine. I hang up. But I do tell her before I hang up, I want to let you know, in all the years of me doing this, I've never had a county services children's department tell me that they can't confirm or deny if they have custody of children that are in a high profile case that has international public coverage. Right. She didn't say anything to that, but I just wanted to point it out to her. Like, it would be highly unusual if you didn't answer this question. An hour later, I get an email from county services saying, we cannot give you this information. It's confidential based on such and such law, period. I think that's bullshit. So I have now reached out in a press inquiry to the Attorney General Yost in Ohio, because he's one of the law enforcement people there who can get his hands on that file and confirm for the public whether or not those children were put into protective custody. There are other children in the house, and Telemundo confirmed that the mother not only is saying that this guy didn't do it, but she's also pregnant with another one of his kids, and there are other children in the house. And he was in the house, according to the timeline we have, from at least June 22nd through July 12th, when all the kids were still in the house, including the victim. So I need to know, and the public needs to know, the American public deserves to know, if their taxpayer-funded government agencies who are supposed to protect children are actually doing that job. And I'm going to find out if they're actually doing the job or not. And if they're doing the job, great, terrific. Just tell me you did it. This is another example of officials not answering questions when they could just clear it up. And I'm starting to think they probably did act perfectly legally and they responsibly, but they just, for whatever reason, don't want to talk to me. And it's just crazy, because it's like, but you make people think you're hiding something when you don't just come out and say it. So I sent another press inquiry also to the Ohio State Department of Family and Job and Family Services, asking them to tell me why Franklin County won't respond to this. Because this is something that the public needs to know, especially in Columbus, Ohio authority, that those people in Columbus need to know that their officials are doing the things that they're supposed to do to protect the children in their community. Don't you want to know if they removed the children during the investigation. I also talked to 2 sexual abuse nurses, SANE nurses they're called, outside of the state of Ohio. I didn't find any in Ohio to talk to, but I found some other ones outside of the state. They told me it is unheard of for a 10-year-old girl who is pregnant to go get a pregnancy test at some doctor somewhere and then go home with the people who brought her there. She would be immediately taken into custody, and a whole chain of events would be, set off like fireworks. That 10-year-old wouldn't go home. Did she go home? Why won't they say? What is going on that they won't respond? And don't you find it interesting that the Indianapolis Star or the Columbus Dispatch aren't asking these questions of the authorities? How come I'm the only one doing it?
Yeah, I mean it's very common for sex trafficking enterprises to utilize forced abortion to cover up evidence of crimes. I'm not saying that's I'm not saying that's what the case is here, but it's a very common occurrence.
The chat is Back Alley Gaming says they can't answer because of privacy laws. They can't give me any details about the case. They certainly can say we have taken custody of these children.
I'm sure they've said that about other children in the past.
Have.
In the press. Yeah, I mean,
I deal with child services in all different states. I have had them confirm to me before whether or not they're investigating something. They will tell you yes or no. They won't give you the file. You're not going to get the details. And that's not what I'm asking for. I am simply asking for the government, who should be transparent with this kind of stuff, to confirm or deny if they followed the abuse protocols in that state. That question needs to be answered, and it needs to be answered now, because the authorities and the people of the state need to be able to hold these officials accountable if they didn't do the right thing in this case, period.
Yeah. There's something still fishy about this whole thing to me. The whole thing feels like, first of all, the way the initial story was handled feels like a honeypot. It feels like they were like, we're not going to tell anyone anything so that we can... I'm not saying they actually did this, but it certainly feels like an example of, we're going to let the conservative media do what they should do, which is question, because we're not going to give them any information, and then we're going to make them look bad by revealing the information later after they've come to these perfectly reasonable conclusions.
I don't care that they did. I mean, yeah, that's dirty tricks, and it does look like they did that, especially Dr. Caitlin Bernard, who was asked multiple times if she put in those reports, and she could have just said yes. She didn't have to even give them to anyone. She could have just said, yes, I did on July 2nd. So contact the Attorney General of Indiana or whatever. Even the Attorney General of Indiana those reports were withheld from him. He sent a letter to the governor of the state saying, I have asked for these things now multiple times. This was before he went on Fox News. He had asked for the reports multiple times, and he was no one gave them to him. So what is he supposed to think? What is he supposed to think when he's the top cop in the state and no one will give him the information? Who is withholding these things, and why? And for what purpose? And is it dirty tricks, political tricks? Well, you know what? Even if they did that, whatever. It's not going to deter me from doing what I do. It's not going to deter me from continuing to ask questions. Oh, so you didn't respond to my perfectly reasonable questions, and you think I'm the one that looks bad? You didn't respond to Glenn Kessler. You didn't respond to the Washington Post. On Thursday of last week, her attorney comes out and makes the statement she should have made on July 6th when I asked her the question. It took her from the 6th to the 14th or 15th to make the statement. Why? Why did it take so long for her attorney to come out and say, Dr. Bernard did everything correct? Well, not everything, because she listed the alleged rapist as a 17-year-old minor on the report that she made. But that could have been, that's another red flag that maybe the mother was covering for the rapist, because did she get that information from the mother? I mean, Dr. Bernard had to get that information from someone connected to the case. I would imagine that it was probably a relative or whoever brought her for the procedure. So there's still a lot of red flags with this story. And I maintain that every question I asked was reasonable, and I would ask it again. You should.
They were the right questions that everyone should have been asking. Yeah,
they were. Oh, I gotta go. I gotta be on in 3 minutes on InfoWars. So I think
remind people how to follow you.
Is it okay if I get your contact information from Carter? I'd like to message you.
Of course. Cool. Of course.
That's good because I already sent some of it. No, wait, maybe I didn't.
No, I have her like Twitter and Gab account. Like,
I'll give you her.
I know you're the most popular girl in school right now, but I'd love to talk to you later. I think.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully that'll die down soon because I'm not exactly comfortable in this position.
You're doing great, girl. Like
very uncomfortable.
Trial by fire.
Have fun on InfoWars.
You're doing great.
All right, thank you.
It's awesome. What's up, Carter?
Damn. How you doing, Elle?
I thought like you had like Megan Fox, like the Machine Gun Kelly. No, just kidding. That was amazing.
This is the Megan Fox that doesn't have toe thumbs. That's how we usually. That's how we describe her. This Megan Fox is. I just saw someone in chat earlier.
Some great report. That's fantastic work.
Yeah, she's like the female Nick Rakita. I've heard people say, but yeah, she does excellent work. She really.
I love her, Kate.
She behaves like a journalist. This is what you would expect. She just, grabs the bone and doesn't let go until she gets to the bottom of it. Right. So
yeah, I like that.
And for that, she's vilified and hated. So,
man, I've got so many I feel like my instinct, right, like the original. I just want to bounce some ideas off, like the original. It came from a like child trauma specialist or something based out of the area where they were at, right? I feel like this was potentially one of those, like the amnesty groups or like that put people who are here illegally in homes and apartments and things like that. I feel like they're probably in a place with some organization. And the original article in the Indy Star, it wasn't about that. It was the introduction with like some very vague details, and then they jump right on into like defending abortion and like don't even mention like the girl again. They don't follow up on any of it. I feel like they've got this network of like, again, probably nonprofits and all of the shit. I'm gonna like, after we get done with the stream, I'm gonna find out, because they were like at the place where they live, like on Telemundo. Like I'm about to like do some like 4chan shit and find out exactly where that was and see if anyone's like nonprofits are paying for like apartments or homes there. I bet they are. And I bet that's what this is.
Well, it wouldn't be surprising to hear. So let's, again, this is hypothetical. We're just
allegedly, speculatively.
Yeah, it's all speculative, but it wouldn't be surprising that a story pops out of some environment like that with, a group dedicated to protecting illegal immigrants. And
all over the place. They're usually Catholic organizations.
And that story pops out and they say, well, we can't give you details because we don't want to look bad as a community.
They probably listed him as a minor so that they didn't have to like report like that could be considered a different level of crime.
So here's an anecdote you can use.
Megan comes along.
Right. Here's an anecdote you can use for your story, for your leftist, propaganda. And just don't, obscure the origin. And if it hadn't been for Megan,
right?
I mean, like you said, it's a couple lines in an entire article about Roe v. Wade. It's not the focus.
It was supposed to be the rage-inducing, it was supposed to be the rage-inducing hook. But like, they clearly don't care about the outcome after that for the girl. They cared about, again, in my crazy conspiracy theorist mind, covering up a crime. It's not an accident. It's not curious that they reported him as a 17-year-old. He's considered a minor if that happened. So then that would be a different way to report it. And they could handle it differently. It was never supposed to be the story that it became. And that's why they were scrambling for so long to confirm it until I guess they could get all their shit together to try to spin it in their like positive, light. I feel like that's exactly what it is. I'm gonna find out where that place is.
I wouldn't be surprised.
There's nonprofits paying for places there. I bet there is.
Yeah, we'll see what you uncover and what Megan does. But yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
The other thing that happens is when people do stuff like that, let's say that they intentionally misreported, as soon as someone shines a light on this and starts to do some investigation, that actually explains the delay in communication, because they've got to figure out how to get their shit together because they got caught, right? And there's a discrepancy, and they need to be able to to pull themselves together and explain that discrepancy.
The best you can have is Glenn Kessler going, yeah, well, it's hard to prove, but
right.
Source trust
it's
bro.
acquired the status of a fact. So that's really all we need to know, Elle.
I like her. I like her vibes. She's cool.
Yeah, she's great. I knew you'd like her.
Like,
so,
I mean, like on top of like doing a bang up job. I don't want to I don't mean to be like belittling her. Like, just a fantastic job of the story. But like also cool.
Yes.
Double whammy. What's up? What's going on in Carterland?
Man, not much. Carterland's been mostly quiet.
That's
took
good.
a vacation, which was awesome.
Oh yeah.
And we went. I was telling Megan, we went to America for Independence Day, which it's a great country. I recommend if you live in California or somewhere that's not America,
cross the border.
Recommend going across the border and visiting. Yeah. But yeah, we actually there's a
get the hell out of there, man.
How have you been? You seem you've been busy. You've said
busy, like irons in a lot of different fires, but there's like good, like busy and actually like focused and putting things together. And I've been focusing still on like Paxlovid, and I feel like that's probably what I talked about last time I was here. Hell, I don't even know. I've been focusing on Pfizer's financial like the fiscal year quarter like calls, and overlaying that with what they were saying about Paxlovid, and I call it Comirnaty, but it's like the Comirnaty Pfizer BioNTech right. But I'm Comirnaty. Looking
it
at
sounds like Sherlock Holmes' nemesis, kind of. It's almost like Moriarty.
I don't get that reference.
No.
So
okay. Never mind then.
Please explain it at length, and I still won't get it.
Yeah, that's okay. It's like I have there's a fan who talks Dune all the time, and I read his comments, and it's all metaphors that are Dune related, and I'm just over my head now.
That was a game, right?
Dune, Dune, not DOOM.
Okay.
It was a science fiction books and then a movie, which I thought was horrible, and then they redid the movie recently.
Oh, it's the one that they just did, and I don't participate in pop culture anymore. I hardly did, even when I did. But I just the idea of like sitting down and watching like a new movie or like a show made in like probably the last 8 years sounds like hell on earth. I can't think of the last actual new thing I've watched.
Yeah, it's tough. Anything new is going to be pretty.
I'm pretty sure the last movie I saw in theaters was Toy Story 3, which was like
this is a long time ago.
I don't like them. I don't like movies. So
fair enough.
I mean, the pop culture references, go ahead, but they're gonna go. Whoosh.
No, I don't have a lot of them, so that was it. And I don't really consider Sherlock Holmes pop culture, but Dune. Dune is it Sherlock Holmes is old?
Well, I mean, are you talking about like I read like what's that Sherlock Holmes? Hang on, I gotta look this up before I make a reference. That's like, hang on. I read a lot of yeah, okay, yeah, I did. I read The Hound of the Baskervilles.
That's Sherlock Holmes. That's the first one.
Sherlock Holmes. Like that's like the pretty much the only participation in Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, well, you had some participation. That's okay.
And I read that, I'm pretty sure, in like high school. So
yeah, it's a high school kind of thing.
My dear Watson. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You know it. Moriarty is his nemesis. That's all you need to know. Which I always thought sounds like the Comirnaty or whatever they're.
Oh,
yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah, Moriarty's the evil dude. So now you get the reference.
Sort of.
It's still not that fun. It's we just took a long path to something that's really not that satisfying. So
yeah, but it was fun. I mean, like, do I understand any of it any better? No, but like, I feel like I remember the name of Moriarty, or at least I've heard it before.
All right, I'm gonna throw a super chat. Let's go. G-Man says you can make a ton of money over time off of tax slaves, but selling fetus parts is fast cash. Yes, and actually, if you want the women to be tax slaves, sometimes you want them to have fewer children so they can go out in the workforce.
Yeah.
So
go be a girl boss, hustle culture,
Yeah, exactly. That will make you happy.
I fell for it. I went to college from I graduated in 2013, and I started in 2008. So it was definitely in the kind of it was in the kind of the shift, the cultural shift. But I went to an SEC school. I went to Auburn in Alabama, and it happened to me. And if it could happen there back in the late aughts, early teens, whatever we're calling the tens, it sure as hell is happening now.
Oh, it happens. It happens everywhere. And well, we could talk about this for a minute if you want. I mean, one of the things that I find fascinating about feminism is and tragic about feminism. Huh?
I said that'll be a short list, but go on.
Yeah, no, well, tragic, fascinating, and I'm watching an ambulance wreck or whatever.
Oh, okay.
They decry the patriarchy, but they adopt male hierarchical status symbols for women and tell them that they're not successful unless they meet the male definitions of success. Women in the past might not have, if you're, let's just go back to a traditional marriage. You're married to a guy, the guy goes out and works and brings home money, and you stay home with kids. That's the traditional kind of 1950s thing. Well, it doesn't really matter who owns the money.
Carter.
Right. It doesn't really matter who earns the money at that point. It's shared income, and you might have different standards for happiness and success in your life that are not tied to working for the man and earning a particular salary, but your functions as a mom and manager of the estate. But it was the feminists who simultaneously say that men are horrible, but we have to adopt male hierarchy standards in order to judge ourselves. And since you're sitting at home not meeting the standards that males have set for success, you're unsuccessful. So you need to jettison the kids and go earn a paycheck and work 80 hours a week at a law firm.
Sounds like hell.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I've had that thought before too. It's well, you're the first female, whatever, and it's okay, and so you did what a man did 30 years ago. Now, cool, crushing a girl.
I mean, again, if people want to do that, that's fine. But it's the adoption of the standards and the criticism of anyone who doesn't adopt the male hierarchy standards.
Doing it for the sake of again, getting the diversity hire, or putting a woman in a position, or having a black person take a position just so that you got that photograph or what, that's not, I'm crazy in that I think that people should just, I believe in meritocracy, which apparently is white supremacy culture.
It is.
So,
meritocracy.
The Smithsonian told me that.
Who did?
The Smithsonian was actually one of the very first organizations that put out the pastel infographic. That's the real epidemic we're in.
Wait, I actually think I even hold on. I have it.
I have it bookmarked from fairly recently. Yeah, where it's being on time and controlling one's emotions and strong family units.
Here, I'll put it up.
I think it was in Washington. They canceled some Department of Health meeting because they're this came from the Smithsonian.
Yeah, it's hard to read the way it is, but I'll read a few.
Enhance it. You can't zoom in.
I don't know if it'll let me zoom in because it's sharing slides. Maybe I should have. Oh, here, maybe it will. Does this work? No. Oh, well.
You're doing great.
It zooms in for me. It just doesn't zoom in for you. So the top says rugged individualism. This is a whiteness thing.
Yes. So it's working out and taking care of your physique too. So.
Yep. Self-reliance, independence, and autonomy, highly valued. Family structures. That's whiteness.
Yeah.
The feminist stuff we just talked about. Husband is a breadwinner and wife is a homemaker.
How dare you?
And this is my favorite. One of my favorites. Emphasis on the scientific method is whiteness. Objective, rational, linear thinking. Cause and effect relationships.
This is so offensive, but for a very different reason.
It's super offensive for a very different reason.
Like,
yeah.
Listen, we know you can't control your emotions and that you need help from everyone and that you're never on time and you don't want to take care of yourself and like whatever. So like, we're going to call all that racist. All right. We got you. Like, that's so fucking insulting.
Yep. Hard
As a
work
woman
is the key to
on the
success.
internet. Sorry.
Yeah, work before. I'm just looking at work ethic. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's some of your fun ones.
This is from the Smithsonian. That's what I like. Just like what? So
following
beautiful.
rigid time schedules is whiteness. Planning for the future is whiteness. Oh, so this is one of the most insulting ones. Planning for the future and delayed gratification is considered whiteness.
Yes.
Now, who's doing
no.
that? Someone figured out. Probably Beverly figured out how to
Beverly
zoom in.
is
Thank
a
you, Beverly.
wizard. A wizard, Harry.
Planning for the future and delayed gratification. Now, I just want to point something out here. Delayed gratification is highly correlated to IQ, right? Like IQ is partly the ability to suppress your current desire and plan for the future and take appropriate action. That's kind of a backhanded. That's a smack in the face. That one, a very clear smack in the face. Yeah, aesthetic justice.
Protestant work ethic, property. Like that's like a direct snipe. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Plan for
all
future.
These are great.
Steak and potatoes, bland is best. Like, bitch, what?
Who even says that?
I think that classic is hard to beat in a lot of ways, but
I think so. My understanding, and well, I'm not a food historian.
Bland is the best.
Yeah, but I think bland. At least if you take a survey of food around the world, often bland is northern regions and spicy is closer to the equator because meat couldn't be preserved, and so you needed spices to make things taste like to mask the flavor of you needed more spice to mask the flavor of rotting meat because it might start to rot. And I think if you do a survey of food, you find the spiciest food in the kind of traditionally warmest areas and the bland food up in like Iceland and that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, you have a built-in refrigerator.
Yeah. And Alex Wall Street says
a man's attractiveness is based on economic status, power, and intellect. Yeah, it is actually.
You have too much whiteness.
Find me a man who takes care of himself, is intelligent, and can is maintain a level of authority over his own life and yeah. I guess I'm a white supremacist. Holy shit.
Tomorrow will be better. So basically, optimism is whiteness. That's a problem. What's another one? I haven't looked at this in so long. I'm glad we're looking at this
English
again.
rules, written tradition, avoiding conflict. They say avoiding conflict or intimacy, and it's like, no, it's like, overt displays of intimacy in a or not conjugal. That's like the wrong word. Like a communal setting.
Yep.
This is like they fundamentally well, I mean, it's intentional. Intentionally misunderstand. Like bland is best. No, it's like classic things. Classic architecture, classic names. You can never go wrong with naming your kid after like a king or queen of England. You know what I mean? Like you just can't. Or like books of the Bible or people in the Bible. Like those things are gonna always be classic.
Yeah.
Don't show emotion. Yeah. Maybe don't flip your lid over like every little damn thing. Like publicly, yeah. That's another that's a sign of IQ. They have no idea how fucking offensive they're being. I mean, maybe they do. Again, they don't care.
Yeah. It's one of the most offensive lists of like. I don't think you could intentionally make it worse.
Is a race ethnographer, and like some of the work that like Jen Psaki's sister does is like, whoa, girl. And I'm sure. Does it say who this was sponsored by at the bottom?
Does it say what?
Does it say like? I can't remember. I feel like I knew who paid for it, but it was something really I went down this rabbit hole.
Well, it's the NMAAHC, which is a particular
Protect property and entitlements. Yeah.
Let's see. Is it the... It's like a particular branch of the Smithsonian. National Museum of African American History and Culture is where this came from. Yeah. I don't know. They no longer have it on their website, so I'm not sure who paid for it. But I mean, honestly, we probably paid for it.
Curious. Oh, well, yeah. But they usually are like in conjunction with like other, like I was just, if it had it at the bottom, I was just curious because I couldn't remember. Yeah. It's somewhere. Well, it's somewhere out there on the internet.
All right, well, we got distracted.
Yeah, how do we even get there? I don't know, but it was a good conversation.
Okay.
See, so when I show up 2 minutes after the stream starts, Carter, and you're like, just get here when you can, I'm subverting white supremacy culture. Is what I'm doing. So
right.
It's actually a good thing.
You're fighting.
Yeah. Just doing my part to dismantle racism.
You're on island time to trying to dismantle the white patriarchy. I'll have to remember that.
Yeah. See, you're the bigot here, white man.
Yes. Well, I mean, I've never
colonizer.
said otherwise. Yeah, I'm the colonizer. I'm the one with the watch. I'm the problem. I know.
I have a stopwatch literally, or like a timer right here because I like set it for like intervals of time to like make sure like, oh, now it's gonna go off because I twisted the thingy. Like I sit here and like set myself like 15 minutes on, like 5 minutes off if I'm hitting like a really like a period of like a writer's block or like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna set it for 15 minutes and get as much as I can, and then I'm gonna take I am fully upholding of white supremacy culture. It's the Pomodoro technique. It works for me.
Very well. I approve of this.
So
as a patriarch,
as a clan master.
Yeah, I don't know what. Or
so whatever they call
one of our
grand wizard,
one of our subscribers here.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I'm glad Megan's gone.
No, it's good. One of our subscribers is worried that I'm not going to ask a question, but I have it right here. He sent it to me privately. He's just reminding me. So until I don't want him to lose his, I don't want him to get too nervous that I'm going to forget. So I'll ask.
He's never going to forget. What is it?
He says, please ask L about a site or sites that is/are the based versions of Media Matters and its ilk, lists of lies, hypocrisies, etc., all sourced from news, YouTube, etc. And then he also says my pronouns are he, him, etc., which I didn't know etc. was a pronoun, but you can just call him etc. So he might he's looking for like the listicles, like you know how they have like the 18 times Trump lied, like where's the based version?
All right. Let me pull up my my bookmarks. I've got several.
Oh, look, see? He thought you would have them, and I'm like, oh, she might. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Of course she
All right. I got like honestly, because like that version of like media like storytelling to me is like the most effective, and it like I prefer primary source material myself, which is very difficult to find. So finding a media outlet that centers specifically around primary source material is difficult. All right, so I have two off the top of my head that are, I mean, I'm sure you know. Hang on. I'm gonna keep letting my okay. All right. So the first one is going to be one that you're probably familiar with, and the second one probably not so much. But you cannot go wrong with. Oh wait, no, I clicked the wrong button. I'm sorry.
With an
anime bye, everybody. No,
avatar, you can't go wrong.
I was trying to share my screen, and I was like, turn off. Okay, so share screen. Hang on, Mima's figuring out the internet again. You're probably familiar with this one, but you probably only see clips shared. I mean, I don't want to. I don't like. Usually, you see clips that are stolen from these organizations. Oh, I mean, it's the internet. It's just. Information sharing, but a lot of the ongoing like clips from come from Media Research Center. They do one of the better jobs, but I have a second one for you that you're gonna love. So Media Research Center,
mrctv.com or .org. What is it? No,
It's mrctv.org. Sorry, I guess that's super tiny. mrctv.org. You can actually go to mrc.org because they have a whole they have Newsbusters, which does a lot of clips as well. So if you go to mrc.org and just like scroll down to the bottom, it's got all of their different organizations down here. Newsbusters is news clips specifically. MRC TV is going to be like your it's kind of expands on that. You've got MRC culture, and I will say, I used to be like a lot more in their corner. Hang on, now I gotta pull up my spreadsheet. I used to be a lot more in their corner, but the CEO of Media Research Center is kind of a piece of shit. I'm not a fan of him. So keep that in mind. But they have a lot of very talented people working for them, and it's the actual site itself is a good place to start, rather than and Newsbusters and all that is a good place to start, because usually people will find one clip from here, and that's the one that everyone's gonna be talking about all day. But they are constantly putting stuff here. But the second one is one that you might not have heard of. It's Grabian. Huge fan.
Oh, so I've heard of Grabian. Yeah.
Grabian's fantastic, and here is why. So you can get clips if you go to Grabian, GRABIEN.com. And honestly, which I'm not signed in right now, which I'm not going to be able to do, I think, but you can pay a little bit of, and it's not much, I think less than $5 a month to get full access to all these clips and stuff like that. And there is ways you can work around it, but it's a pain in the ass. And I think that Grabian does an amazing job, so I think it's worth those, chipping them a little bit of money. But they keep lists, so if you go to lists, rules for thee but not for me, 87 examples of politicians defying their own COVID restrictions, 21 mass murders the FBI was warned about but still failed to stop, recently updated trending lists. So they've got tons and tons of actual lists, like you said, listicles, but it's it's a good stump list, and you can search. And then they've got their this is for news. What is it? Oh, not this one.
Oh, this is cool. I'm looking in the list section now. It's great.
It's fantastic.
354 times good guys with guns stop bad things from happening. I was going to talk about that a little bit today. What a great list.
Yes. Clips. Okay, so clips and lists are going to be the two places you go to for the most part. So their feed, these are just different clips that are just in order as they're coming through. Going into here, you can look through their sections down here. I think Grabian is fantastic, and the person, pardon one second, I want to give him credit because I feel like he's just such an unsung hero of this sort of level of documentation. Hang on one second. I still can't even believe how so it's at Grabian Media on Twitter, GRABIEN Media on Twitter. But the person who is behind all of this is, where the hell is he? It's Tom Elliott.
Tom? Yeah, yes. Tom Elliott.
Tom Elliott. He's TOMSELLIOTT. He is the founder of Grabian. He does a lot of good work. He also has a sense of humor, which I like about him. Honestly, I feel like MRC, the Media Research Center, again, it's a great primary source and write up. They for as far as MRC goes for Newsbusters, just to show they link to primary source material. I appreciate that very much.
Sure.
Yep. But the people who run Newsbusters don't quite have there's this break between, and I say this with love for anyone who's still kind of fully on Trump brand of conservatism. There's been a bit of a deviation from that era of conservatism and embracing irony and embracing all the right wingers that were defending AOC against Alex Stein the other day, Laura Ingraham and what was O'Reilly and all that. Y'all need to get the hell out of your all of our way, because you're not helping anymore, and you're
so
just
it's old school.
Yeah, well, so I have so I was getting all excited seeing Megan's because I got my, spreadsheets upon spreadsheets. But here, let me find this really quick. Affiliation, sort descending, believe. Hang on. Because I have a collection of all the people, all the conservatisms on January 6th who were just like throwing everyone under the bus and just like folding like a wet paper bag. All right. This is Curtis Hook. Click. This is the archived version of this tweet. So hang on. It's going to take a second. Curtis Hook, who is he's a managing editor of News. What's his he's a high up
MRC
at this enterprise. He's at Newsbusters, which is he's the managing editor at Newsbusters, right? He does good work, but anytime it comes down to like, holding the line or like backing up people and not just immediately folding like a little bitch, he's not going to be the one to do it. And on January 6th, he says, "This is a terrorist attack, plain and simple. This is the darkest day in American history since 9/11. And the mastermind behind this terrorist attack was the president of the United States."
So so they're...
I got receipts.
They're Lincoln Project conservatives, or like...
But kinda. They do good work. You have to separate the art from the artist in this case, because the actual, like, again, the material, the way that they put it out is very no frills. It's really kind of without a lot of like personal input, which is something that I really like. I mean, granted, I know I have a show and we're on like where we're putting our own personal input, but I really don't like reading articles that have like a personal bias in them. Like I want primary source material and that's it. And they do a really good job with that. But the people behind it, again, I don't know. I mean, I don't trust this guy like at all, and he's the managing editor. But I do like the work they do.
Yeah. Well, so again, if that's his immediate response to really January 6th.
Yes. Oh, I got more.
Yeah, but he posted that on the 6th, right? So if that's his knee-jerk response, that's a problem.
At 12:10 p.m.
Yeah.
On January 6th. I mean, he was ready. He was ready, and he was like, "This is the worst day since 9/11." Honestly, it's been a while since I've raised hell about all these people. Hang on, I got more. Hang on.
I don't think allies like this are helpful. I mean, his work product might be good, but yeah.
No. Well, that's what I'm saying. He's not like the CEO. He's not it's like a lot of this, because there was so much going on January 6th. There were like obvious like there's so much going on. There was just like, it was the Twitter and social media feeds were going absolutely insane. So like a lot of these takes that were still there a couple months later when I finally went back through and I was like, motherfucker. I went back through and archived a lot of these like after the fact, because a lot of this just went unnoticed, and nobody really did kind of know what was going on for a while. And conservative media by and large was like I was on. My mom texted me because she was like, "Lauren, take that down," but I was on Gab, like I was like, "Fuck yeah!" like you're gonna get arrested. I was like, "No, I'm not." And I didn't take it down. And then Ashley Babbitt was murdered, and then that changed the whole, trajectory of what was going on. But like, again, originally taking in like people kicking their feet up on like Pelosi's desk, and like the guy with the horn, like they like, because again, the only violence that truly occurred there was, from the like federal like law enforcement against the people. I'm not saying that people might not have shoved or like broken some shit or whatever, but like, I'm sorry, we paid for all of that. So
yeah, I mean, I think some Capitol Police
these people have been held political prisoner for a year and a half over misdemeanor trespassing charges and creating a nuisance. So again, this man just like at 12:10 p.m. on January 6th saying this is a terrorist attack. Like, go fuck yourself. But he's a managing editor. He can be replaced. Newsbusters, the MRC, like they do a really good job. I just really, really don't like this guy. So
yeah, fair enough. I can see why.
Grabian, though, again, Tom's Elliott, like, granted, I don't know his whole history. I'm trust him. I kind of trust people who I get decent like they do a really good job. This guy's like busting his ass in like as like an unsung hero, and I like again his they give you the full like transcript. They give you the source of where it comes from, the full thing here. If you pay for like a if you like, it's not very much. You can clip them yourself and like have like your own like clip database of like it's very, very cool. And it's something you can kind of create your own self. And again, like the lists here, also great.
Yeah. Okay.
So those are two.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. Honestly, like when it comes down to like, if I just want to get like an at a glance, I'll do like a cruise through Newsbusters, Grabian, and then like honestly, I mean, I know that like it kind of is a cop out sometimes to pay attention to what's happening on like Twitter, but like you'd be lying if you said that like what's happening. So like Twitchy.com, which is something Michelle Malkin was the one who founded it, whom I love.
Oh, she founded Twitchy? I didn't know that.
She did. She did a hell of a job. So Twitchy is just an overview of what's being talked about for the day, and it's like. It's usually kind of like snappy, like up to the minute. Like it's more kind of gossipy and like dunk style stuff. But like I'll usually cruise through like Grabian, Newsbusters, Twitchy, and like between all of that, like you kind of got like a good feel for like what's the overall vibe. And by doing like honestly, Twitchy helps because I do have a sock puppet Twitter account, and don't get me wrong, I do like go look and find and archive things, but like I don't want to. I try not to get addicted to like the actual like Twitter feed itself because it is very addicting to sit there and just like refresh it constantly, which I feel like is this kind of like alleviates you of that. You get an at a glance, who did what, and then that's pretty much it because everyone else is just making commentary about the same crap. And like really, so like for example, like I'm just clicking this one not because of the story, but like they'll put a lot of the like
you
responses.
Found her to be an attractive woman. Is that why you clicked on it?
Yes, exactly. I love a woman with a 5 o'clock shadow. But they'll also put like a couple of like the responses underneath embedded. So it kind of like scratches the itch of like, ooh, I want to read like the Twitter. Like they do a really good job. And it's pretty no frills still too. And it's just more kind of on the minute. So Grabian, Newsbusters are really just MRC, and you can go to, whichever under the umbrella you want. But just, Curtis Huck's a piece of shit, but that's, it is what it is. But I'll think of a couple other ones though.
No, that's helpful. I think that's more than Mo, who asked the question, was expecting. So
that's something that I've been working on, like building for myself, like because that's what I want. Is something that can to reference and such.
It's difficult because every time I do research on. Oh, did you just freeze?
Sorry, no, hang on.
Oh, I'm just saying it's difficult because whenever I do research on stuff. Like I don't have a great organizational system. It's usually by episode. So if I do an episode on something, like all the notes are there, and I've just got on my hard drive all these folders from different episodes, and I have to go back and find like when was the one I talked about, whatever. And I actually did research, and I've got spreadsheets or whatever about the research. But then I should probably organize myself a little bit better.
Well, sorry, hang on. My mom just sent me.
You're okay.
Give me 5 seconds because I really didn't retain that, and I want to.
It wasn't that exciting. You don't have to retain it. Let's see here. Let's pull this off the stream because we did that. And let me make sure I've got that. All right. Okay. I'm going to. I kind of want to talk about the Indiana mall shooting a little bit, but if you want to talk about what's the. You want to talk about Paxlovid?
Sorry, 1 second.
Let's do that. That's fine. We're gonna wait. We'll tap dance here. I'll read some. All
right. So, sorry. What? So you just said something that was interesting. But I'm sorry, my mom's like.
By the way, someone in chat mentioned Jerome
my
Brook.
mail got sent
He's
to her
horrible
house
on this stuff. So,
who?
Jerome Brook. He's horrible on this stuff.
Who's that?
He's like he's the chairman of the Ayn Rand Institute, and like a lot of people who are objectivist leaning look to the Ayn Rand Institute for guidance on and how to think about stuff, and he's absolutely atrocious on the Trump stuff, on the freedom Convoy, like on so many issues. He's so bad. And it's a shame because he only really corrects himself when Leonard Peikoff, who is kind of the intellectual heir of Rand, who's super old, he'll once in a while get on a podcast and say something and it'll contradict what Yaron says. And then Yaron's like, well, he changes his tune, but he's really bad on stuff. If you want to hear the objectivist take on stuff, follow Stephen Hicks. Follow Professor Stephen Hicks. He's much better. All right. Sorry. I was just answering a chat. So
no. It's fine. My mom, like, stop. I literally was like, Mom, I'm like in a podcast. She's like, all right, sorry. Like I love my mom. Like, stop. She's like the only person.
That's what moms are for.
No, I know. I love her. She's looking out for me. So it's fine. She like my
so
mail apparently got sent to her house. I'm like, okay. See, but you said something before I got distracted.
I was just saying that, like, I've done, I mean, we're here. I can look at our episode. I don't know. We're at like 800 and something episodes of.
That's
now,
crazy.
I haven't been involved in all of them, but I've been involved in a lot of them. And some of them I've done, like, I'll do deep research sometimes on stuff where, like, for example, people talk, gun violence. I've like done a bunch of research, or crime stats or whatever. Like, and I'll build spreadsheets and I'll do, or COVID stuff, but I'll store it in the folder with the episode, and then it's kind of gone forever. I don't have a very good organizational system where I can go. I just have like the Smithsonian thing. I've probably pulled that graphic up and looked at it.
It's probably in a computer, like
years.
Yeah.
But I just so happened to know where it was because I just so happened to be doing something else this morning and saw that it was in a folder, and I was like, oh, that's the episode where it is. So like I knew where it was, but normally I can't find anything, which is pretty incompetent.
Well, at this point, what I would do from this point forward, and you could, I mean, going back and doing this now would be insane. But I mean, maybe you could say like knock out like 10 a day or something. I don't know. When you're putting all this stuff in the folder, I would create like a overall spreadsheet where you put it like episode, like day, and maybe who was on it, and then just like topics covered, so that you can like do like a control F and like, okay, these are all the like folders that have this in there. But I mean, that was a big problem that I went through when I like wanted to. I mean, it's an ongoing struggle that I have like for myself, because when I first like got started, like I'd never planned on this being something that I would like try to continue developing and honing. So I really had about a year and a half's worth of like just like bookmark upon bookmark. My desktop had like so many like just random files, like an image from the internet, like clicked and dragged down, like just, and it was all everywhere. And so I'd like create the system itself to put things into, and then put it there bit by bit. And then also hold myself to the standard that I would, like, from that point forward, as I was retroactively going back through and sorting through, or probably about a year's worth of like data, which is like it was like lot. Close to a terabyte, like it was a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Clips and like, because there's like sometimes you have media clips that are big, and like all that stuff adds up.
And you're like, well, do I put all that under CNN, or do I put it under like the topic at hand? Like you have to come up with like how you're going to start sorting it all, and then start putting it into there. Because if you're kind of making it up as you go along, like you're like, oh well, maybe I should have put like all the like news anchors under one. Like I went, because you right. Like if you're into any sort of like research on your like on any, like you need to like archive things both digitally, like online or whatever, but also locally. Like it's just, and then back that up. I
think what I'm going to start using is Airtable.
I don't know what that is.
I think I'm going to start using Airtable because I'm starting to use it for other stuff, and it's kind of like a spreadsheet, but it's also like a database, and it's super powerful, and you can actually write
like
code.
A SQL kind of thing?
It's I mean, it's online, and you got to pay for it, but I'm already paying the minimum whatever it is for Airtable. And we use Notion as well, but Notion's not good for like uploading docs. So but Airtable's pretty good. So, and you can be sloppy. You can be like, I'm going to organize it this way, and then change your mind and be like, yeah, I'm going to organize, like I want to change how I'm doing it pretty easily.
Well, I'll tell you this, and this is probably the most like Mima way of doing something, but whenever I'm doing like a dig into a topic, what I have found that works for me best, because you might start like researching into something and then like you've got like 50 tabs open and like you've been just like pulling random like file downloads, like your downloads folder, and like wait, how did I get here? I feel like I gleaned some information along the way that was like aha, and now I don't even know like where it is in this like shit show. As I'm researching about something that I feel like is going to like be significant. I know this is gonna sound grandma-ish and probably isn't gonna work for everyone, but I use PowerPoint, which I've got pulled up. I get like
PowerPoint's good for like forcing yourself to tell a story and keep like it's.
Well, it's a good way to plot something out, because you can screenshot an image of whatever you're looking at online and put it up there, and then under like for like its speaker notes, like you can write your thoughts or like your outline for like potentially like an article or kind of like what you're thinking there. Put more hyperlinks, and like it's actually a really good outliner. That you can click and drag those around. You're like, oh, well, this should actually go down here. That kind of fits more like into this like flow of it. So I use PowerPoint for that.
That's kind of nerdy, but I like PowerPoint.
Yeah, like the dig into Pfizer, right? It's like 70 some odd like slides that.
But then you have something potentially you could present.
Well, that I like a lot of the like I don't do it quite to that degree, but like when I do like my show, I usually have about like 40 slides set for the show. I used to do like way more than that, but I would never get through like a third of them. So being a little bit more realistic, I'll usually stick to like one like big topic for the night, and maybe like one happy, one kind of like current. Yeah, like it's not like I'm not trying to be like formulaic about it, but I'm like realistically, I cannot talk about 20 like current events going on right now, and really like I don't think anyone there really wants me to. You know what I mean? Like I could read headlines, but that's not really. I did for a while. Don't get me wrong, because I had a bit of like an identity crisis. Like, what am I doing here? And I was like, I don't want to be a headline reader.
No,
people already do that.
I relate to you. We've had so many internal discussions about like you should do a daily news show and read headlines and comment. I'm like, I think I would be suicidal.
That's what the internet. That's what the internet needs, is another commentary show.
Right. I just don't like. It's not
right. My show.
I also don't think it's healthy. I don't think the audience should be focused on outrage of news every single day. I don't think it's good for you. Like if you're interested in a particular topic, do a deep dive, have some like deeper discussions, but getting outraged every single morning about, the latest thing, I don't see how that's going to help people build back Western civilization in any way.
Right. Like the other day, there was a like I added some context to. There was like a dunk on Twitter, because everything's about like again like the gotcha or like the dunk moment, like oh like you're an idiot because you did this or whatever. So like there's this tweet that went like kind of viral, and it was a CNN like a pretty high placed CNN correspondent, Gianna something, who's married to a formerly high level like Democratic operative who's now a like managing partner at a financial group, because of course he is. And everyone was dunking on her on Twitter the other day, because she like made up one of those. My 6-year-old looked up at me and asked if
it was
talking about Brittany Griner. Like my 6-year-old looked up at me and asked me, like literally asked me if like he was gonna go get her, talking about Brittany Griner. Which again, why does your 6-year-old care about getting Brittany Griner out of?
Why does your 6-year-old know who that is?
Right? Like you're either projecting this on your child because you think having a precocious child. Did my computer just?
You froze for a minute, but I could hear you. Your face froze, but now I can't hear you anymore either. Say something. Nope. Elle froze. Perhaps she too is arrested.
Hang on just a second. Sorry, I'm back. Hang on. What the heck? like my whole like shit just like freaked out on me. Again, now I gotta like every time I come back from like my internet just like had like a hiccup. Sorry.
Happens.
Surprise.
Yeah, I just don't know why is a 6-year-old aware of like
right.
A basketball player in Russia on drug charges and like what's that? Why is that a thing?
So that means like it means one of two things are true. Either you are constantly barraging your child that should be a child first and you know, a citizen of the world like last. You're constantly barraging them with like all of your things and projecting all of your concerns onto them as if they were an adult, which is you know, wrong. Or you are just making up shit for what? But then I was like, well, who is this lady? Because she works at CNN. Who's she married to? He's a high level Democrat. What has he been up to lately? He's been petitioning and leveraging his financial group to create a system of health credit scores for Americans. I'm like, so everyone is so busy dunking on this bitch, and like all of this is like right behind it. You know what I mean? Like that's
wait, what's
like,
this? Do you know anything about this? Because I'm fascinated by this health credit scores.
Hang on, I got the link because I was talking about it earlier on.
Send me the link. Because I am so into how much we've been lied to about nutrition and health for my entire life. It's chilling to imagine what health credit scores would look like.
So two not schools of thought. Maybe. What the hell is happening? All right, my internet might have another hiccup. It's like, what's happening? Why not? Okay, I need to close some tabs.
Maybe
I think
we need
I've been.
No,
I live in the sticks, and my internet like it's fine until it's not. All right, so here's.
G-Man says I got to put this up. He says, when anybody knows a WNBA star player by name, something is wrong. that is 100%, my man. Good job.
I know Sue Bird. I don't even know if she still plays anymore.
Who's that?
I know she was a WNBA player. I don't know if she still plays. I know the name Sue Bird. And the only reason I know of the name Sue Bird is because there was like this video that went viral back in like 2020-ish of like some girl like, you know, it's like one of those videos where she's like, you know, we need to be paid like you know, paying the like WNBA more. And then this kid like cuts in over it and he's like, can Sue Bird dunk like LeBron? No. And like, so like, that's how every day it is for like a video making fun of. But I don't know if she's
related to Larry Bird, or am I just too old now?
Sue Bird.
I'm going to look at her. Are they related? She's the niece of Larry Bird.
I mean, like, I think she's one of the better players. But again, the only reason I knew her name was because of like that video making fun of her.
Oh no, she lied about it. I'm sorry. She claims to be the niece of Larry Bird, but it turns out later she lied.
Oh, that's really funny. Played for 3 teams in Russia, holds both U.S. and Israeli citizenship. Weird.
Well, you saw, I think U.S. soccer just agreed to pay women the same. I mean, first of all, no one watches U.S. men's soccer. So, I mean, yeah.
I mean, like once every 4 years when like the World Cup rolls around, everyone pretends like they give a shit about soccer for a bit.
That's me. Like I watch the World Cup, but I don't root for America because we're never in it. I mean, we're not consistently in it.
No.
But, yeah.
I root for I don't care about soccer. I find it just
that's okay.
Like
I played it growing up, so I have to care. I don't.
There's some people in like in like my little online community that like get all excited about soccer and like I love them. I don't like a game where you can play it for like an hour and a half plus and no one wins.
It's 0-0. Right, yeah.
Like that's bullshit. Like someone has to win.
That's the way it is. Yeah.
It reminds me of like, so I went to Auburn, right? Like, and there was you're probably not into college football, are you?
No,
it's fine. I am though, and everyone's like, you shouldn't watch college
you're
football. It's all woke or whatever. I'm like, I don't care. I like college football. Suck it. But when I went to Auburn from 2008 to like 2013, and I was there while Cam Newton was there. I was there. We won the national championship once, and then win another time. Like college football, it's fun. It's fun. Sue me. I drank a lot of Natty Light and went to a lot of Auburn games back in the day. But there was a like almost infamous game between Auburn and I think was it Mississippi State? 3-2 Auburn. And I was there. And the final score, we ended up winning. But the final score after like 4 hours of, or like 3 hours of like football, because it was like a primetime game too. Like it was like the CBS game, which I know you don't know what that means. It was like the one that comes out like 7 o'clock. Gary Daniels is there, and Vern, and
big deal.
Like, yeah. And the final score of the game was 3-2, which is like almost damn near impossible to do in college football. Like. And everyone, like, we were so drunk by the end of it because I had like, minis shoved down my like cowgirl boots because, your girl was very different in college. And so like we were just like wasted, like just someone win, please put us out of our misery. It was awful. It was in 2008. It was like right when I first went to school there. So it set a great precedent for how it was gonna go. But yeah, I can't. Yeah. I don't like a game. At least they make you like win. Like you'll have to like someone has to win in college football. In soccer, the fact that it can end in a tie is like a travesty. Like, no, it should end in a joust or something. Like, someone has to win.
Hockey's the same way. It can end in a tie, but at least hockey you get more scoring.
There was something where it ends in like a coin toss recently, and it was like some like
I haven't seen that. Maybe I haven't been paying attention.
Maybe it wasn't soccer, but it was something like it was like some like sport where like the deciding factor at the end, I think, was like a coin toss. And everyone was like, that's
the worst bullshit ever.
If anyone can think of what that was, I think it's within the last like 1 to like 5 years, but it was like a big like sport event where it ended in a coin toss rather than like anything else. That happened though. It was a thing.
I didn't see, nothing is quickly showing up. So maybe someone can find.
I don't know. It was really funny though, because I didn't care again, and I don't care about college football as much as I used to by any means, but like I think it is fun to watch. I know
this was the Democratic National Convention. It was Bernie versus Hillary. Yeah, but Hillary supplied the coin, and it was heads on both sides. That's what it
was. That it was. It politics.
I don't know. No. He's just.
There was something. Something where like it was like a coin toss though in politics though.
No. It was like if heads Hillary wins, tails Bernie loses. That was the coin toss that they had.
What was it? Hang on.
Okay, so wait a minute, Elle. I want to ask you about Paxlovid because
it was the Super Bowl of
what?
Wait, no.
That can't be.
Overtime coin toss defeat at the it's like the NFL.
What?
They like flip a coin or some shit.
All right, that's worse than soccer.
Yes, unfortunately for the Buffalo Bills, his one mistake of that night, calling tails instead of heads on the overtime coin over. Yeah. Oh well, it was something like that. Whatever. I don't sport aside from like.
You sure it wasn't just a coin toss to see who like?
Maybe that was it.
One side of the field or something. No.
Way later. It's not important. My brain does that thing where I'm like, it's going to bother me until I figure it out.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Right. Let's talk about other things.
I just don't know. I wanted you to tell me about Paxlovid because you've been staying up late and drinking lots of Monster Energy drink. So,
tell
us about the sacred nectar from Pfizer.
Well, so it's something that I've been keeping my eye on. I first started talking about it like early mid-May on my own show, just like because a lot of people had a lot of very conflicting reports, just kind of looking at the medical talking heads that I do keep up with. I have a bunch of different lists on my little sock puppet Twitter account. I was like, they're all like getting very heated about Paxlovid.
Now this is the thing that's the treatment for COVID, right?
Yes, it's Pfizer's antiviral. Actually, let me pull up my spreadsheet because there's some very specific things that happen with Paxlovid. that they focused on. A lot of people called it like Pfizer. Well, I don't want to necessarily show it, but I was just wanting for referencing it for itself. I'll let you know. Pfizer, I was going through their earnings calls, but this is it's a big mess right now still.
It's a 3, someone's asking it's a pill, right? Yeah, it's 3 pills. Yes. I think you take them in succession.
It's 2 different medications kind of mashed into one. It's ritonavir and then nimulpirinavir. And the ritonavir is like an HIV medication, and then the other one is a protease inhibitor, which has a lot of the same active ingredients as ivermectin. And so everyone was calling it Pfizermectin when it first came out, because they're like, it's a protease inhibitor. Like, this is the same damn thing. And the long and short of that is like, yes and no. What Pfizer focused on with bringing Paxlovid to the market was what they call, let me find the exact phrase in here, because they use a very specific Pfizer in all of their, what they say public facing, when you see Albert Bourla getting on CNN and going, we're just wanting to bring the pandemic to an end, and then it's like frog throat. Have you ever seen that video? No, have you ever seen it?
I have seen that video.
It's real. It's real. Like,
yeah, so was so was the Spanish CEO that got arrested for having a fake vax card. The other pharmaceutical company guy. Did you see that?
Huh? What? I'm sorry. I'm seeing someone complaining about my Telegram. Or not complaining. Sorry, Keith or Kent. I deleted my comment on my Telegram for that reason. So I don't know what spam you're talking about. I don't have it linked to my Telegram channel anymore. To answer your question, Kent. Spam bots on Telegram are so bad now. Like, I cannot sit there and delete by hand spam accounts, which is what I have to do on there. Like, I don't have the time for that, so I just deleted the comments on there, which sucks. So if like the linked, I guess, chat is still there, it's not being monitored by me at all. Sorry. No. So what were you saying?
There was another pharmaceutical CEO, and I think it was Spain. He got in trouble he was caught with a fake vaccine card.
Yes.
He didn't actually get vaccinated.
His whole family.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, let's go back to Pfizer.
No, Albert Bourla went on, I can't remember what show it was. He went on CNN, I think. And while he's talking, his throat is like billowing like a frog does. And it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And so on my show, I was like, this has to be doctored, because, it's some random clip from the end. I was like, I showed there's a way to find like a primary like source clip. I'm like, I want to go and find it and figure out if this is actually real or not. And it is. And I still have no explanation for it. Man's like a lizard man. But Pfizer, they, on the public facing calls, like when they're on CNN or MSNBC, or when they're, having their press conferences with, Biden, it's, we're here to save the world. We're very I'm not doing a terrible impression, but you know what I mean? Like it's very much like, oh, we're all in this together. But if you go into like what I was doing last night for like 5 hours, was going through the earnings calls for every fiscal quarter, starting from January of 2020, and then going up through present like fiscal like earnings calls, because that's when they're addressing their shareholders. That's when they're addressing their bottom line. That's when they're talking about there's so many like subplots going on through all of this. Like, they like sponsored the research that created a new disease that they're super excited about, that they're like ramping up awareness of, so they can diagnose more people, so they can prescribe the stuff. And I'm not saying that like there might not be like an issue here, but like they talk about it like it's the business that it is to them. And so that's what I started going through, and what they prioritized. I gotta find this actual phrase here. One moment. There's like when Trump issued a series of executive orders in like mid-July or end of July, like 2020. It was the access to affordable life-saving medications, increasing drug importation to lower prices for American patients, lowering prices for patients by eliminating kickbacks to middlemen. Like, they had a like conniption fit. They're like, they're going to be importing drugs from the third world. And it's like, you manufacture, like, those drugs are the same drugs. Like, it's cheaper to do that. But they're like talking about like, I'm like, like those are made by you. It's just under like they have a like Upjohn, like their subsidiary, and like other countries. Like it's made by like Upjohn. It's just it's like, damn, dude. They were apoplectic about it, but they prioritized what is it called? Oh yeah, disease awareness helped drive estimated diagnosis rate, and they're like thrilled about it. It's so insane.
So that's
first in class. It's considered first in class, and first in class. They say, don't forget market development and creating new markets is a real sweet spot for Pfizer. Right below this in their thing. So we're very excited about the launch and look forward to bringing this important medicine to the market. And so regarding our antiviral candidate, which they were talking about this was in when was this? July of 2020, so mid 2020. So regarding our antiviral candidate, we believe this potential first-in-class protease inhibitor may give us the opportunity to demonstrate meaningful antiviral activity to help treat COVID-19 patients. We initiated the phase study with hopes of submitting for approval in the second half of 2021. And so they have this planned out where it will land after the vax. Like they plan this out from the get-go. They didn't want it to get anywhere in the way of the actual like pushing the Comirnaty on everyone. And also in these, like some of these things that they say in here are absolutely unhinged. In one of the more recent calls from 2022, hang on, I gotta pull this up. Like it's absolutely insane. Not that one. There it is. All right. And in one of the recent calls, this is from May 3rd, 2022. Talking about the vaccine, talking about we have access to Paxlovid patients being treated. We're going to go back to that in a second. Because there's an issue with Paxlovid rebound, and it's bad. And it's largely in people that are vaccinated, double vaccinated, triple vaccinated, boosted.
When you say Paxlovid rebound, what does that mean?
So what that means is Paxlovid is, according to their own instructions, despite many of them being on the record saying that this is the wrong approach, including Fauci and many others, is to, as soon as someone who has a higher propensity to end up hospitalized or dead, as soon as they know that they're positive, or even in fact, where are you going, kitty? Even in fact, if they think that they're positive, you can go get they like skirted around the FDA and all this sort of like you can get it without like a prescription from like a MD.
You can
like,
just say I need it.
You can go to the pharmacy and get it in certain cases, which is like the red tape that we have permanently destroyed for some of these things is so bad. So Paxlovid rebound is where, again, someone who's immunocompromised or who is just testing regularly, as soon as they know, or as soon as they think they know, they're like, start taking it immediately, because what it's supposed to do is like bring viral like replication and shedding, like to like shut it down. That was the whole thing. It's supposed to like stop in its tracks.
So by the way, this is similar to ivermectin, which you're supposed to do early, right?
But here's the thing. You do this for 5 days. Again, it's half of an HIV medication that has the longest list of potential side effects and interactions, and also the potential to forever ruin one's own immune system and ability to fight off new infections to like anything. Like that's
one of the side effects.
It's the ritonavir. There's 2 different active ingredients in.
Well, isn't it the
Paxlovid.
first 2 pills are one thing, and the last pill is one that helps stop the liver from breaking down the first ones? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Sorry, I'm not trying to steal thunder. I'm just trying to understand.
No. I'm saying that like that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's ritonavir boosted nirmatrelvir. Sorry, I always forget the N one, but like it's ritonavir, which is the HIV medication. Like ritonavir is the one to me that's the most concerning, because again, the protease inhibitor, which is the nirmatrelvir, is like it's got the active ingredient, which is actually significantly more concentrated in some respects than an ivermectin. Granted, it's like I don't know, like 1,000-fold more expensive. I think a 5-day regimen, if someone had to pay out of pocket, was like $700. Like it's
right. Well, because it's probably patented and ivermectin is expired. So
exactly. Even though like there's a really, I don't know, it's not haha funny, but there's a tweet from here it is. If you can put that up. This is from end of 2021, October 1st, 2021, where Pfizer Incorporated quote tweets Snopes, who's fact checking again Snopes, which is two, it's like the two like psychopaths in their house with all their cats. Which
wow, how disingenuous is this?
Yes, exactly. So this is from October of 2021. US FDA said it best: "You are not a horse," which is why the protease inhibitor we are studying as a treatment for COVID-19 is not and has never been an animal medicine. Is being developed.
Wait. I have a request for the audience.
Yes.
If there is a veterinarian in the audience, please go see if you can use the new Pfizer to treat a horse for something, so that we can say that it's horse medication. That's all that needs to happen. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, you had all the same people that were like, making fun of horse paste, that were like, well, you can still get like horse abortion pills. Like,
right.
Listen, I'm going to say that between the two, if I was going to take a protease inhibitor that might make me queasy and throw it back up versus a abortion pill strong enough for a horse.
Well, you get. Plus, you got to get that from Joe Rogan, man.
Very different levels of like risk here on top of everything else. Like, but no, but yeah. So, but what they are saying here though is like really important. They said, which is why the protease inhibitor we are studying as a treatment for COVID-19 is not and has never been an animal medicine. It is being developed for use only in humans. A novel concept. I know it is a novel concept. It is a first in class concept. That was the whole point. They have a unique ability that they brag about constantly in these financial calls, where like we have a unique ability to generate markets where there are none and to create exclusivity. There are some major patents for Pfizer that expire in like 23, 25, and 26. And there's like, I can't remember the name, the ones off the top of my head. I'd never heard of them, but they have some big exclusivity rights to some of their big name drugs that are ending in 2026. And so they're trying to replace that right now. I mean, they're making buku dollars, but they want to keep that momentum going because, again, like the way that they talk about this in here is absolutely insane. But God, I'm so
look how unscientific this is too, though. This is a biochem company. This is a pharmaceutical company, right?
Quote tweeting Snopes.
Right, and just the look, ivermectin has been used for decades in humans. Effectively, it's a human drug. It happens to also have application for other mammals, but that's not uncommon. I mean, mammals share a lot of similar body chemistry. So often when you develop a drug for one, you can, there might be a version of it for other mammals. Like there might not be, but it's not uncommon to have a drug that also works on horses or dogs or whatever. There's a different version. Like that's,
according to our own
like
NIH,
this is weird.
According to our own NIH and FDA, do you not remember that they were going around vaccinating like ferrets and zoo animals, like lions and tigers? They were like, yeah, we're giving them the COVID vax. Like, so if you're going to use that argument, when y'all went on this like weird zoo tour in like 2020, I
didn't know that they gave them the COVID vax.
Yes. Hang on. It was a bunch of ferrets.
So they literally gave it to zoo animals.
Given COVID. Yep. Endangered ferrets given experimental COVID-19 vaccine, and this is January 2021. They were like going around vaccinating like tigers and stuff. Like this was happening. Like, I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah.
So if you're my whole point of that is if you're going to make that argument, oh, it's horse paste. Well, like, then why are you testing these human vaccines on ferrets? Is this a ferret vaccine? Like, when you enter their frame and use that kind of argument, though, it doesn't work the opposite way, but like it still is
because
funny.
They're not making arguments, they're just casting aspersions, right? So
because a bunch of brain dead people who just like every time big pharma right now, which they brag about this too, that they've built up so much goodwill with the like government, media, and people. So anytime they say something, like just trained like a bunch of like circuit like barking seals, like yeah, like I'll get my like I'll get my booster. But here's where did my tab go?
I'm such an independent thinker that I have a Pfizer tattoo.
Oh God, yeah. Not this one. Lord, I have so many tabs open. I apologize. I'm trying to...
I didn't want to see him. I can't believe you made us look.
Oh, there's like some feet up here. So we're excited about this one. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so this is from their call from May 3rd, 2022. They're talking about Paxlovid. I know it's like kind of blurry. They're talking about actually getting the data available. Somehow they don't have very good numbers on the Paxlovid rebound at the beginning of May 2022. But what they do have, magically enough, they don't have the one set of data, but they have the other. Now, what we also learned is that for some patients, immunocompromised is down here at the bottom, the final one. For some patients, immunocompromised, they may carry this virus for a very, very long time. And we see that area as a real new opportunity growth area for Paxlovid to do very well, where you may have to take multiple courses over a year or even treat with extended duration. And that's something we're now planning to study in order to expand the use of Paxlovid where it may be the most appropriate and life-saving drug. Like they can't fucking wait to get people on a Paxlovid regimen for the rest of their lives, and just like until they've destroyed their immunity. They're already immunocompromised, so like they have plausible deniability. You know what I mean? Like they're already immunocompromised. When they start slipping, I can blame anything else. Like in the actual clinical trial, I can pull this up for you really quick. Damn, I got so much stuff. In the clinical trial, okay. Oh no, like I got like when they first not this. Okay, in the original clinical trial. Where are you at? They for the actual vaccine, like the vax itself, not for Paxlovid. They had in the placebo no instances of Bell's palsy. Right? I can't find it actually in here. I know it's in here somewhere, but not that one. Not that one. They had 0 instances of Bell's palsy in the original like test group, right? In the Comirnaty test group, they had 4 instances of Bell's palsy, but 4 is the confidence interval for a sample size that high. So even though they had 4 instances of Bell's palsy, and they're like, well, Bell's palsy can occur naturally, so there's really like we have no like clearly it's not vax related, like things like that. Like it's just like it's so bad. It's so bad. And granted,
I mean, in fairness, that is how statistics work.
Right? Yes, I know. Yeah. But every single time, in every single like trial, it always goes one way. And then when they were doing the trial for the second, where is this? It was the cardiomyopathy thing. Where's it at? There's another. It was hilarious because having like data that you can count on and data that you can actually like glean things from is a huge part of all of this, is being able to like make informed decisions. Pfizer in their initial vaccine trial muddied up their own data because after apparently they had such a great first round, they were planning on doing the interval. Everyone who got the, I'm sure you remember this, maybe you don't, like everyone who got the first round of the actual Pfizer vaccine, they're like, it showed such a good response that everyone who took the placebo, they're like, we can't wait. This is so good. And so they vaccinated all the placebo people.
Oh, I remember that.
They ruined their own data because the findings
any long-term
too
effects
good.
they've been ruined. Yep. Yeah.
And that was just somehow okay. And because I'm sorry, people get mad when I say it, because of Operation Warp Speed, thanks to Trump, thanks to all those. I mean, if it hadn't have been him, it would have been someone else, sure. But he certainly didn't help anything out, with all of this. He lifted so much red tape, trying to do good business that clearly it is a huge business for him. He's a businessman, but this was not the so again, when they muddied their own phase 1 and 2 clinical trial data for the Pfizer vaccine, like that was just fine. And so
and we're supposed to be, if it saves just one life, they need to be vaccinated.
They say, I gotta find this. I've got to find this. It's so bad.
So what I want to be clear so people understand. This means that of the original trial, you can't possibly do long-term analysis of effects of the COVID vaccine because the placebo group no longer exists.
Pretty much. And never, yeah. And that sort of stuff happened across the board. Kitty, please, gosh, she's gonna come roll around on the keyboard. That kind of stuff happened across the board in pretty much any instance of data collecting. Because again, the reason why we're all here, can I here? I'm gonna take that down. There was just looking at my computer because I feel like I'm gonna pull something up. The reason why we're all here, or at least while I am here, is because I love data. That's what I used to do for a living. I was a financial data analyst for a government contractor. I was just a bean counter, but it turned I developed an aptitude that I never knew I had for data analytics because I went to school and got an English degree. I completed some certifications and I was able to make the jump into the to my big girl job, and I loved it.
The productive world.
Yes, exactly. And then COVID hit, and then they ended my program's funding, and now here we are. But at the time, that was what I did, is I crunched numbers and stuff. And so when I was sitting at home one night, they moved us to working from home for the contractor I worked for. They're still working from home. I don't think they're ever going back. They started us working from home at the very early bit of March. So I was just endless time at my house because at the time we didn't know what was going on. And so I was like, well, I could spend the time to collect all the numbers, because they were you'd have to I had to go through into news articles because there were no databases, there were no tables of constantly updating numbers. It was pulling a Seattle 5 news number and then pulling it took a long time.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I spent 8 hours putting all this together to kind of glean some information with what we have. I might as well share it and see if anyone that follows me on social enjoys it. And that's literally why I'm here today. But I was naive enough then. In pretty much every single way that a person could be naive. But I was naive enough to think that we would be able to really man, once we really get these case numbers rolling in, once we get we'll be able to really pinpoint this down. I was this is going to be handleable.
Truth will matter.
Exactly. And then it turns out that half of the states for many months in the most crucial times when they were case rates are exploding, it was Georgia, half of the Southeast, of course, weirdly enough, and quite a few other states were counting positive PCR test or whatever test it was that we were using at the time, an actual positive diagnosis. They were counting that, as well as anyone where they detected antibodies, which are two very different things. They counted it all as positive, and that went on for months during the first half plus of 2020. And then they were
were using high cycle counts for their PCR tests, so it was
dialed it up to you could find
or something. Yep.
You could find COVID on anywhere.
Yeah.
And then the intentional sandbagging from our own CDC for testing at the beginning, which again, at the time I was like, yeah, like we can start, like if you can test people, you can tell where it is. Well, the CDC originally they were like, other countries were manufacturing the tests already, and Trump said, no, I want to make them here. I want to know that we have full control over them, and I want to make sure that like we're testing from like the actual like swabs that we're pulling from actual patients, like they're the whole thing. And so the CDC, in order to do these tests, you have to have like a control to measure the swab against, right? And the CDC, for whatever, they messed up the control aspect of these testing kits, which is really not even the most important part. The most important part would be like the actual like swab culture. But because they messed it up, they like just like didn't do anything for like 3 weeks because someone was like, oh yeah, we messed that up. And like no one ever followed up on it. And so that crucial time, at least at the time, that's what I was thinking. I never like, maybe it was crucial time. If we had been able to develop the tests and start testing people sooner, like I don't know, it could have been very different. So for like a month, our CDC intentionally like sandbagged us from having any actual idea of numbers. Like it was a very weird thing that was happening. Well, I say weird, but I was naive enough. I was like, well, we'll get it right. We'll be able to sort it out. We'll be able to fix it. We'll be able to fix this.
Yeah, well, because the thing that you're naive about is that we wanted to fix it. We didn't want to fix it. Right. I mean, so many good things, and I use good in quotes, so many good things for the authoritarian administrative state wonks came out of COVID. I mean, the World Economic Forum is still talking about how great COVID is for pushing their agenda. Like it was one of the best things that could have happened to them. So and you got a nice transfer of wealth from mom and pops to large corporations. You got Americans to start agreeing to have more of a surveillance state and get more used to being told what to do and what not to do. I mean, there's the swamp that Trump claims to be fighting benefited immensely from the way that we responded to COVID.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it was like a adrenaline shot for the swamp.
People were writing like love letters to Andrew fucking Cuomo for like
a
year and a half.
Yeah.
That's how
one of the things you're reminding me of here when you talk about Pfizer is this has also been on my mind lately is how much we've become a society in which unhealthy lifestyles are encouraged.
Yes.
So bad food, bad habits. Yeah, we're becoming like the movie WALL-E, right? We're being encouraged to be these blobs on a couch who eat really bad food and don't exercise and don't get sunlight, and which of course is going to cause problems for our immune system and other things. And then we're told that the solution is more medication. So rather than, I mean, I think honestly, if you think about it from Pfizer's perspective, if the healthcare industry were kind of, I'll say rational, and I don't know what would be required for that, but we're certainly in a heavily regulated mess right now. But if it made sense, you would think, well, the goal is to have long-term health for you and to avoid intervention, right? It's to, what can you do? Hey, Elle, what can you do? What can you eat? And what activities can you do to avoid long-term intervention to avoid having problems so that you can live naturally a long, healthy life? But we're doing the opposite. And the best thing for Pfizer is anemic, immunocompromised people who can't survive without an entire medicine chest worth of daily drugs. That's what they want.
Oh yeah,
we have an incentive structure to give them that.
And they will finance the research needed to create entire new classifications and categories of a disease no one's ever heard of, so they can have exclusive rights to the medicine, such as with what's the medicine that they love it. They're all about it. It's which one is that?
they need to convince you.
It's for Vyndaqel, which I'm like.
Vyndaqel. That's the name of it. Vyndaqel.
Is it Vyndaqel and Vyndamax? They funded all the research. This is completely. It's for a specific diagnosis of cardiomyopathy. They funded all the research for it. It came out that started landing towards the end of 2017, beginning of 2018. They funded all the research for it, and so then they helped develop the name for it, and then they immediately had the first to market medications for it, and they amidst all the COVID stuff, you see them bragging still about how much money they're making from that unique status that they positioned themselves and gave themselves. Again, when you have the exclusive rights to the production of a drug, like they do with the Vyndaqel and Vyndamax for this cardiomyopathy, you get it for a pretty damn long period of time. So we have the exclusivity. Awareness of this disease is rising, so more people are being diagnosed, and they love it. And I don't understand the ins and outs of cardiomyopathy. I don't know how different this is from other diagnoses of cardiomyopathy. I don't know if it's some very specific delineation that they were able to get that allows them to have an exclusive medication, kind of like with their Pfizer Mectin. It's not this protease inhibitor has never been used in animals. That's a very important distinction, because they say that this one was developed for that's why. And by adding the HIV medication and the ritonavir, they now have first of class status and have some exclusivity to that, even though it's it's ivermectin and HIV meds mashed together, but different and new. So I've got 2 points here to make. And hang on, I've got to I'm jotting down notes of where I need to go with this, because I've got 2 points I want to make here with this, and they're both pretty damn good. So with Paxlovid, here's the issue. What's happening right now is that the original recommendation was, again, as soon as someone thinks it's coming on, or as soon as someone gets a positive diagnosis, immediately start Paxlovid. It's a 5-day regimen. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's supposed to stop virus replication and shedding. And by the end of the 5th day, you take 6 pills a day. By the end of the 5th day, most people in their initial immune response are wow, I feel so much better. But here's the thing. Usually about 10, it's not with everyone, but it's happening a whole lot more with a whole lot of high profile people, including Fauci, by the way, and also Stephen Colbert recently, Jimmy Kimmel, I think Trudeau, a bunch of people have caught COVID twice in a month.
So
recently.
Far, I'm not feeling bad about this list, but okay.
No, because these are the. I mean, I still remember the time I actually showed it on stream when I was talking about this. Stephen Colbert is the one who sang a little jingle on his
oh my god, that was so
on behalf
cringe.
of Pfizer, and said this is this is for my friends at Pfizer. It's what have you become? Oh my god. So people, again, initial diagnosis, first thing, as soon as you think it's coming on, or you get that first positive diagnosis, you take it for 5 days.
Right.
A lot of people are having very high success rate from this. These are people who have probably had their initial 2 vaccines and then probably a booster, if not 2. We have people are 4 and 5 times vaxxed right now. I think I'm still 0, so I don't damn know. I think that the average rate is 4 for Pfizer.
We're dragging them down.
Maybe a 5th, right?
The averages.
Well, it'll be a 0 forever. So, and there's a whole point that I need to make with that in a second. Sorry, I'm writing this down because there's a lot of different moving pieces. So they take it for 5 days, they feel better. So about 10 to 14 days later, these same people are getting sick again. well over the originally reported 2% of cases in the original case study. The entire emergency use authorization for Paxlovid was based on a case study of about 1,300 people. Over half were placebo. There was about 2% recurrence rate in the non-placebo group. There was a recurrence rate in the placebo group, but it was not. It was distinctly smaller amount. So they said it was about 2%. So when the FDA said it was about 2%, and when the media subsequently started reporting that it was 2%, everyone's basing that off of like an initial like case study of like around 600 people.
And this is after
and this
how
is like
long?
The global EUA. And I think the original one was like after 2 weeks, which is like it starts around 2 weeks in. Like the data's fucked again.
Okay, so it could be 3 weeks, it could be 8%. They just don't know. They didn't measure it.
Yes, I think the given parameter, I think it's 14 days or 10 days. It's a small amount. So about 10 to 14 days later, people are now starting to test positive again. But it's worse because usually they get over the first instance of it like really quickly. But it's worse. So it's been for the last 10 to 14 days still in their body. According to some new white papers that haven't been peer reviewed yet, but hey, we're going to at least throw this in here. According to some new white papers that have been published over the last couple of weeks here in July, it's allowing the virus within a person's body, while it's like a super low levels, to undergo mutations that are similar to those that you would see in dual use or gain of function mutations in a lab. It's according to a couple of different sources. Again, they're not peer reviewed because these things are happening right now. Like it's analogous or at least comparable to the kind of mutation that you would get from gain of function in a lab within a human being in that short amount of time. Because again, the ritonavir aspect of this Paxlovid fucks your immune system. And so Dr. Fauci is on the record before he ever even got it, by the way. Dr. Fauci is on the record on June 9th, 2022. Because again, this is all ongoing. He's on record June 9th, 2022. Saying people are getting Paxlovid so early, they're not allowing their body's immune response to the virus to kick in. So you're having no combination of immunological or antiviral control. You're just getting the antiviral control. You pull the viral static, your immune system takes another few days to catch up. So if people would wait a few days before starting Paxlovid, you may give the immune system a chance to rev up, then add the Paxlovid in, and when you pull the Paxlovid, you continue the immune response that you already had kicked off. But Fauci said that on June 9th. Burla said it on July 1st during one of their calls most recently. But Burla's thing is, on July 1st, was like, well, you could shift the date, or I gotta find this. So fun. I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny. It says, where you at?
Let me guess. Does it involve taking more of his products?
Yes. That's 100% what it is. On July 1st at his little meeting. Where is it at? Where is it? Oh God. It's so, I mean, it's not haha funny. Oh, no. Where's that? Yeah. He's essentially like, well, so instead of doing any sort of like, maybe like we should shift this forward a few days. They're like, they started testing immediately on whether or not someone could take Paxlovid like a couple weeks apart, which you saw in that bit from earlier. They're like immunocompromised people that have to take Paxlovid all the time. They're like, we're gonna have some repeat customers. We're excited about this. This is a way for them to create more repeat customers. They're making about $20 billion so far on Paxlovid, and they're looking to like double, triple, quadruple, like even that 20 billion with a B for Paxlovid. But here's the thing. So as soon as there was an opportunity for them to get, shove through all the red tape, approval for probably a second round of dosage of Paxlovid for the rebound, which is hilarious to me on so many different levels. They're like, we're gonna start research, like we're gonna start a trial on this immediately, right?
Yep.
Here's the kicker about all of this. And here's where there's so many unknowns that really, really, really concern me. Like, truly. A lot of the people that are getting the rebound are people who have been, again, double vaccinated and then boosted 1, 2, 3 times. Average is like 4 to 5 right now, right? These are people that are constantly testing. They probably have a low immune response to everything anyways because they've been social distancing. They're still wearing like N95 strapped around their face all the time,
They're not
right?
eating dirt.
They're
not
the
out there
ones who,
building
as
their
soon
immune
as
system.
they so much as a sneeze, they're like, give me Paxlovid immediately, right? They're the ones that are like going to sign themselves up repeatedly to be on this slow reduction of their own like immuno response to this and potentially a whole lot of other things. Because again, it's half HIV medication that fucks the immune system, right? Here's the thing. They were so quick. They were like, we're going to start research on this immediately. That was like July 1st on their like shareholders things. Guess what? Trial data they never had and seemingly are in absolutely zero hurry to start, despite also making this pharmaceutical product as well. Pfizer has to this day neither not even started, much less completed, a clinical trial involving previously vaccinated individuals with taking Paxlovid afterwards. There is absolutely zero clinical like data anywhere, and it doesn't matter because there's all the red tape was lifted. But despite owning the rights to both of these drugs, and I'm assuming, you know, considering they have the rights to both of them, it'd probably be pretty easy to like make something work. They were so quick to jump on a test for issuing another issue of Paxlovid, but they don't want any clinical data on like seemingly. Wouldn't you be so ready to be like, yeah, it's a great addition to your vaccine. Like this, they complement each other, you know, like you'll
right. You would want data that shows like
your booster, like once every like 6 months. And like, if you ever get like like you'll take Paxlovid, like that would be great, right? That'd be great. Like branding, a way to differentiate themselves in the market because I have 2.5 years of them saying exactly these things. So why then is Pfizer jumping all over everything else except for using their own damn mRNA vaccine technology and their like, why won't they study it? And why?
Well, they haven't really. I mean, if you'll notice, after they got approval, they just stopped really studying it altogether. I mean, this was the same thing that we were told.
Like, they do have like ongoing. They have ongoing like monitoring though. Like with Paxlovid, they have like. At any given time, they were monitoring like 300,000 cases, looking for rebound. With the I mean, like it's slow moving, but they are collecting case data. So why aren't they like putting these together? Why are we not comparing? Why don't we have any data that shows overlap between? Because they have all the data already at hand, but they don't issue it. They are is already in their hands. Really, realistically,
right.
we have that data, or they should, but they won't. Like no one's talking about it. And they're talking about people who, again, Paxlovid is supposed to be for people who are immunocompromised, people who are already at high risk. It's supposed to be for them anyways. And now they're talking about how this is like a great opportunity for like a lifetime of usage. They didn't say lifetime, but a frequent flyer, if you will. And they like it scares the shit out of me. And I don't know. I feel like people are just, there's enough here. There's enough history here. There's enough provided here that I don't like. I like people do kind of talk about it here and there, but I really don't see anyone dig. Like this is a scandal. This is a massive scandal that with just like a little bit of sunlight and the like presented in the right way, like this would really do some damage to Pfizer's like street cred, which is something again they brag about repeatedly. They're like, well, we have where's where they talk about how they have this one's particularly scary. Hang on, I see if I find this.
I mean, are you sure it would damage the reputation? Because people don't seem to care about the truth about what they're doing. I mean,
well,
not to be cynical about it.
Here's why I think that there is a potential for this. There's one man, and now I can't think of his name off the top of my head. The first guy that I looked at back in May, the reason why I ever started talking about Paxlovid in the first place, was because over the course of about 2 weeks, he completely changed his tone on it. And he's one of these like medical talking heads on Twitter. Let me pull up those old slides really quick, because this is why there's enough pushback right now. There's a lot there's a growing subculture among people who have been kind of fully into this for a very long time, where even this guy, I know, let me just pull this up. Pardon the progress. I wasn't prepared. It was from May.
No, I mean,
because I'm seeing people change their tune that I would have never imagined
you would not have expected it.
Yes. Like completely changing their tune. Oh my gosh. Is this the one?
I mean, to me, the whole thing is just so ridiculous. This is over look, I had COVID. Lots of people have had COVID. Like, yes, if you're immunocompromised already, or if you've got other pre-existing conditions, it can be much worse. But this is a lot of. I'm all in favor of taking risky drugs if they're your last shot. Like if I was dying of some disease, and it was like,
Trump
sure, I'll take it. It's not
try.
tested on anything. Like, sure, I'll try it. But that's not the case that we're in here. And they are acting like it's the zombie apocalypse and we've got to suddenly try all these drugs and do all this stuff and rush it and rush it and rush it. And it's really not necessary. But it's part of the, ginning up fear. Medical fear is Pfizer's business. So.
Yeah, I get it.
Which, by the way, fits nicely with government's business, which is fear in general. So that's why they're good partners.
To add on to that, interestingly enough, you know what happens when you are in a constant state of stress and anxiety.
Wait, does your immune system become compromised and your cortisol levels go up? And your body can't respond to elevated cortisol for a long period of time, and you become immunocompromised? Gee, I wonder.
Oh, here it is. Oh, bless this man. No, that's exactly what happens. This guy, his name is Bob Wachter, Wachter. And so I can't find the actual flash. My
on
cat
Twitter. I got him.
Yes.
He's got a little lab coat.
I'm pulling up. Yeah, I'm pulling up a specific era of his kind of come to Jesus moment about Paxlovid. We'll start at. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead. If you want to pull him up while I get this.
Yeah, I can pull him up if you want.
This is why I have hope, and I feel like. I think one of my biggest frustrations, well, I have many frustrations about many things. One of my bigger frustrations with which Megan kind of talked about this earlier, and it's something that I kind of complain about a lot, and I'm still trying to figure out the right solution. But like conservative, media is still kind of stuck back in the own the libs and dunk on everyone era of things, and it doesn't do anything anymore. You're not winning the culture war with that anymore. It was actually effective in the 2016 era. It was effective, but it's not anymore. But you still have a bunch of people who they'll get on Twitter, or their profile of choice will be like, "Good morning to everybody except for Nancy and the Democrats." Shut up, dude. That's not doing anything. You have endless resources, endless you have interns that do research for you and put together your content, and you're using it to dunk on a lady whose husband is you're so focused on dunking on her about her fake 6-year-old story that you fail to notice that her husband is right now leveraging our government for health passport, or I'm sorry, health credit scores. There's no drive to look just slightly behind something. But I feel like conservative media, this is a home run. It's a home run, and enough people are talking about. All right, so here we go. Let me.
But this guy's still clearly pro-vax, right? He's
yes, it was he on May 11th. I'll pull this up right now. So on May 11th, which is
No, that's a lot. I'm not going to scroll down to May 11th, probably.
Oh, I need to no. I got it pulled up now. Sorry. Screen. Which screen is this? Damn.
I can probably do a search.
No, I got it, Carter. I think this is the one. Oh, that's the wrong screen. Hang on. Oh God, I keep clicking the wrong button. It's like impossibly tiny to see on my computer. All right, so here it is. On May 11th, he starts talking about Paxlovid rebound. It's on now. I've got the right one up.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Let me enhance. He has he's a chair at UCSF Department of Medicine. UCF.
That's right here in San Francisco. That's the University of California, San Francisco. Yep.
He's he's been a public health leader, policymaker. He's one of the people that's been cited many times as the reason why we're doing XYZ. He was talking about Paxlovid rebound early on. Let me see if I can narrow this down over here. And was like, the benefits of Paxlovid outweigh the risks. This tweet in particular, after he had gone off and on about it, he's talking about it, but he says, Paxlovid rebound is real and poorly understood. We need urgent studying and patient counseling. But the biggest risk, he continues, so this is how it started right here. He said, but the biggest risk is that the misinformation engine revs up, Pax gets a bad name, doctors hesitate to prescribe it, and patients hesitate to take it. Pax's benefits are still much greater than its risks. This is where he was at May 11th, right?
Okay, so he's like, hey, there's risks. Don't be stupid and not talk about them because you'll discredit yourself, and it's very important that you take this drug. Okay.
Yes. He said it's real and poorly understood. We need urgent studying and patient and counseling. But you don't want to give it a bad name. So, don't let the misinformation engine get it. I mean, again, you're sitting here saying that it's poorly, again, everyone at this point is starting to realize that there is no trial data that involves vaccinated individuals. Still to this day, there's not, right? Just 13 days later, he writes this thread. It's 25 tweets long. His wife in between gets COVID.
Okay.
Takes Paxlovid. It does not, she's fine. She's not dead or anything like that. But she rebounded and it was very, very bad. And he saw the effects of Paxlovid. So this is how it started, May 11th, 2022. This man, San Francisco Department of Chair of Medicine, policymaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
May 24th, 2022, 13 days later. I was asked by a reporter today if I'd take Paxlovid if I had COVID. Last month, this would have been easy. As a 64-year-old person with asthma, the answer was an unequivocal yes. Today, it's a closer call. And again, we're counting this as some significant progress because again, this man is
sure.
He's in the matrix, you know what I mean? Today it's a closer call. In this thread, I'll lay out the reasons why and then give you my answer. He goes on. First of all, an update on my wife. Again, everyone's willing to say the benefits are greater than the risks until it's your wife. Until
the risks are close to your house.
And right.
Close to home. Yep.
His wife, who she's a journalist and author. An update on my wife's Paxlovid rebound. She finally tested negative yesterday. So her chronology is positive for 8 days, negative for 4 days, positive for 5 days, now negative and feeling better. Hopefully it'll stay this way. I haven't heard of double rebounds. He's already seeing her again, her 5 days spent there, the first couple, it hits you again. When, according to all of the kind of anecdotal data and verifiable data, the second time around, it hits you like a freight train, way, way worse. Way, way worse. because it's just been like in you, like, and like it just comes on like all at once. Now that I'm feeling better, hopefully it'll stay that way. I haven't heard of double rebounds. It was bad enough, obviously, where he's like, hell, we don't know. Katie's rebound involved not only a reversion to a positive test and 5 more days of strict isolation, but an uptick in symptoms, mostly fatigue now improving. He was talking about it more there. Like, she also had like extremely low, blood oxygen, like shallow breathing, some of those things that are like, you know, if you got COVID, but like your blood oxygen levels at like 97, 98, like you'd be all right. But I think at one point it dropped down to like 91, 92, which is like bad. He keeps going.
Here we go. There's the one that starts with all the that's a good one.
All the rebound explanations. The most popular one is that Paxlovid leads to rapid suppression of viral load, thereby mutating the immune response, or muting the immune response, and then over the 5-day course is too short, so the virus reemerges after the treatment is complete, are completely unproven and relatively unsatisfying. All by the course is too short part, and anxiously await studies of 7 to 10 day prescriptions. But that's not what Pfizer's doing. They want you to rebound, so you need it bad. Like you're desperate enough to go get it. Pfizer's not even testing a longer course; they're testing a 2-week apart course. I'd be reluctant to futz around by purposefully waiting till day 2 to 4 to start Paxlovid, since one of the drug's purported advantage was the rapid suppression of virus. No, that was what they sold it as, much like the vax. Paxlovid now, as it always has been, you silly conspiracy theorist, Paxlovid's job was again to prevent hospitalization and death. Now it was.
That went down the memory hole.
Yes.
You just forgot that's what it always was.
Yeah, it always was that. No. They weren't talking about how it was supposed to completely suppress like viral replication and shedding. No. The new metric, as has become with everything, is a reduction in hospitalization and death rates, which is significantly more nebulous and a lot less easy to measure. The rapid suppression of virus. Up until now, the reasons to take Pax were, to me, twofold: one proven and one hypothetical. Proven, a reduction of risk of hospitalization and likely in death, and was associated with an the second rationale was theoretical. My biggest fear about getting COVID today is no longer mortality. Instead, it's long COVID. Again, they've gaslit all these people and thinking that long COVID is real. My hope was that rapid suppression of virus might lower the odds of long COVID. That benefit is not proven, mind you, but it's plausible. As I consider Paxlovid's pluses and minuses today, the pluses are less certain, while rebound is the big new minus. So too is the unpleasant metallic taste. People report in their Paxlovid apparently tastes terrible, and you like taste metal in your mouth for like a very long time. Yeah, and like makes you like very nauseous. It's not just like it's an HIV medication and a protein, like it's doing a lot in your body. It's a very like active medication. And then it also, you taste like metallic in your mouth. Like you've been like, someone said it was like you've like swallowed a penny, which sounds awful. It's only reported in 6% of trial participants. Again, trial data. My neighbor's outside blowing weeds or whatever. Only reported at 6% of trial participants. That trial, again, was about 1,300 people. Less than half were actual users, but also seemingly more common. Let's look at the pluses first. 89% reduction in hospitalization. Again, that's a very nebulous target to hit. You know what I mean? Like, that's always kind of iffy data. I'm less certain than I was. The New England Journal of Medicine trial included only unvaccinated patients. This is where he's starting to put it all together. The trial included only unvaccinated patients, as all of them have. And the virus at the time was Delta. And considering Pax today, most patients are vaccinated and the virus is an Omicron subvariant. Why should this make a difference? Stats. Even if the benefit is still 89% reduction in hospitalization, a vax-boosted person with Omicron has a far lower baseline risk of severe illness than the trial population, and thus the hospitalizations averted would be far less. Yeah, it goes into this very, very well. And this is Paul Belcher, who goes into it. He's the background guy for there's a lot of academics, Eric Topol being one, who's also been kind of a one of the public policy makers and one of the people that's been carrying this torch of big pharma this whole time. Like they're kind of becoming very disenchanted with it very quickly. At the end, he says he would still take it based on his teetering, but still fairly high confidence. It would lower my chance of an awful outcome of hospitalization and death, and my confidence that rebound would be inconvenient, but not ultimately super risky. Again, I mean, but this is progress, though. Think about where he is, where he was 13 days ago. Shut up and take it. Don't question this. We don't want the misinformation spreaders out there. To 13 days later, writing a 25+ long tweet of like some pretty nuanced and very well sourced and pretty well thought out like information there.
It's interesting how they're unable to hear nuance with any criticisms that that they're not on board with, but the moment it hits close to home, suddenly there's nuance to be discussed. And risk analysis to be done.
My wife, this happened to my wife. Different, right?
Yep.
And you're, again, Eric Topol, who I've not been a huge fan of. Like it's continuing to happen. And like I had a copy of a message. Someone the other day was like, so what are we supposed to do? Just like keep getting boosted every like 2 months and keep taking Paxlovid every 2 weeks? It was like, you're starting to get it.
You should invest in Pfizer stock, apparently, is what you should do. I'm not suggesting that at all. I would never do that because it's immoral.
Oh, God. No. That's like a freaking, I'll never remember. I mean, I don't mean to talk shit, but I don't think anyone's going to go run off to, who's the guy who writes Dilbert? I can't even think of his name. Scott
Adams.
I was going to say Scott Peterson. No, that's not it. Like Scott Adams, like, was being like everyone should get vaccinated or whatever. And someone's like,
yes.
Did you invest? And he's like, what I do for my financial well-being is like, well, actually, dude, you have a really impressionable, or not, I'm not saying impressionable, but like you have like a big following of people who think that you are like a logical and sound and like reasonable
he often
mind
is
in all of the fray. But yeah, then he started like, he's like, if you don't get vaccinated and you get COVID and you die, that's what you get. Like he
was horrible on that.
He, Ben Shapiro, like quite a few of them, like just became like, you don't deserve to live in society because my wife's a doctor.
Yeah, it was super blackpilling to see people like Shapiro and Scott Adams just be so bad on individual rights and logical thinking and nuance and critical analysis and risk analysis, and just to be complete mindless sheep. And he was, and so is Ben Shapiro, and they're both too smart to have done that.
Ben Shapiro, again, to me, I'm not saying he's not intelligent. He is, and he's like pretty good at debate. I would not debate him because he would just
he's good at debate.
Yeah, he's good at like actual like like structured debate, right? I'm not, but I'll just sit here and like throw sources at you until you shut up. Not you, but like the royal you. But that wouldn't work with Ben because I don't have time to pull out all my archives in a hypothetical debate with him. But I feel like Ben and like, again, and maybe this is my own take on things and maybe other people don't see it this way. I think that like the 2016 to like 2018-ish era of like conservative media figures and talking heads, like it's coming to an end, but there's this new group of people coming behind that are capable of a little bit more nuance and aren't like just looking to score dunks, and who aren't afraid of playing dirty. And I think that a lot of these people are going to find themselves, for a long time it's been about maintaining their own like rung on the like hierarchical ladder of like conservative media, right? Like that's pretty much what everyone's trying to do here, is guard their own place that they've made for themselves. And you had like the other day like, again, Laura Ingraham and Bill O'Reilly, like I'm sure you saw like Alex Stein trolling AOC. It was hilarious, right? Sorry, pardon. I gotta take another half of my antihistamine. My cat. Cat hair everywhere. Laura Ingraham from Fox News and Bill O'Reilly, formerly of Fox News, both hopped on Twitter to attack Alex. And they're like, this is unacceptable.
Bill O'Reilly of all people too, but okay.
Oh, well, yeah, it's all right. Alex handled himself, and that's what they weren't prepared for this, because they want to be able to make their grandstandy statement. Let me see if I can find this really quick.
It's just a conservative version of virtue signaling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Make the big grandstandy statement, but also if you read into it just a little bit, like I do in these sort of things, it's them saying if they can heckle AOC, they'll do it to me, because they all the symbiotic circle and the revolving door of the mainstream media and the government and NGOs and pharma and financial entities, like it's the I refer to it as the Venn diagram of absolute political bullshit, where you think of all these things as being like, oh, well, she works here and he works there, and it's all a bunch of individual moving parts, but like the more you look at it, it's just one big like shit circle, right? So like,
yep.
No one's here, I'm sure, is unaware of the concept of like controlled opposition, but really they exist in the mainstream to be antagonists to each other, to be entertaining, to score dunk points on each other online, while simultaneously all managing to keep all the focus on like the same like 6 to 8 talking points throughout the day. Everyone's talking about it, but they're all coming at it from different angles. And I find that kind of stuff, like, granted, I'm also guilty of that. So like, and I know that I'm not like part of some. It's hard not to get caught up in it, but they're not. You don't realize that you're being caught up in something that's like being like they're controlling what everyone's talking about. Everyone's giving their hot take that does nothing.
Yeah, I was going to say they accept the agenda about what should be discussed and what the parameters of the discussion are. Mm-hmm. And that's the, I've been trying to figure out a phrase to define these people, but I think this is it's the first and second estate from pre-revolutionary France, where the third estate is the people and the first estate is I think the first estate is the priests and the second estate is the nobility, but it's the first and second estates trying to hold on to their position and keep society going the way it is. And they can argue and yell at each other and have fights about stuff, but it's all in the context of status quo maintenance, right? Whereas someone from the third estate comes along and lobs a bomb, no one wants to see that, right? They're like, oh crap, he's bombing AOC with this troll. I don't like it because he's part of the third estate, and no one's supposed to bomb the nobles. We're supposed to yell at each other in the way that we do.
We're all supposed to yell at each other over, and I'm not saying that these things aren't, worth paying attention to and aren't, noteworthy, but we're all supposed to sit here and yell at each other about, are we Blue Lives Matter or Black Lives Matter? And they maintain that position in the media or in the hierarchy. Yeah. So I've got, but they're not ready for the way that that like kind of like this new. I'm not saying Alex Stein is like the like be all. Granted, he's fantastic. I think he's wonderful. But they're not really ready for the way that people are getting that people view a lot of this. I guess a lot of these people. So like Laura Ingraham said, here I got it pulled up. She said, "This guy is a total loser." Oh wait, I need to share my screen. Sorry, share screen. I think this is like an interesting like cross culture, like a cross section of like what's going on like with the party as a whole and like as like with like the movement. There's people who refuse to get on board with like humor and with playing dirty. They're like, no, like we gotta like maintain like the, I don't know, the Fox News of our grant. But I've got the screen shared now. If you wanna. Again,
all right.
I'm not gonna. Like,
you got it or no?
I've shared it. It's down there.
I might not see. Oh, there it is. I didn't share it. Okay.
I got you. Again, AOC was like, here's a video he posted of the incident where she's like saying about how, the whole peace sign. I'm sure y'all have already seen this a billion times. I was actually going to go deck him, but because if no one will protect us, then I'll do it myself. And so then Laura Ingraham of the Ingram angle, which like I've really like, she did some work back in like early 2021 on like the Virginia pathways and like the equity and like she or at least the people who put together her show gave her a good show to present. She did a really good show on like that before, and I really enjoyed it. I've always kind of thought that she's like a little like stuffy for my, but I always thought, but she's like, this guy's a total loser. But today, decking a creep who deserves it, he's calling her a beautiful big booty Latina. Clearly, he means absolutely no harm. But today, decking a creep who deserves it may mean being charged yourself. Like, okay, Laura. And so they're used to posting these like big grandstandy statements, like a lot of like monolith, like
and getting applause,
and getting applause, and not having the person in question get in there and defend himself. He says, this is why my biological father has a much better ratings than you, and please don't misgender me. I'm a lady. And he posted just this video of him in front of like, they don't know how to handle this because they don't do humor. Like, it's so good. It's so good. It's like, and again, I know that this is like, it is like just kind of like the goings on in the world, but like this, I think is really important. Like what's happening with like the ability for people to have open discussions. Like, it's not about like, I'm getting really frustrated with people who continuously talk about how much they hate, like, Gen Z and millennials for, all the shit they've done. I'm like, listen, you sit here and acknowledge day in and day out how evil the educational system is and how evil CRT is and how it's designed to destroy the minds of young people, like, and churn out little just like lost souls. You know this, and you know what the product of that has been over the last like really 10 to 15 years. You know the product of that. And yet you shy away from anything that might, resemble having any sort of empathy for a lost adult, or kind of like someone who's been led astray. Because I was one of those people. I was an absolute piece of shit in my 20s, and like because of my parents and the like some kind of mentors I had at different workplaces I worked at that kind of were like a constant that I needed. That like I was like, oh, man, like I wish I could be like that were patient with me even when I was, again, a complete piece of shit, and who gave me endless forgiveness even when I didn't deserve it. Because of that is why like I found my way back. It's because I had people who were just patiently rooting on me quietly. You know what I mean? And like, imagine being a kid just turned out of, you've gone through high school. I say kid, but I'm like, like mid-20s, which was like when I was in the middle of my, my dark years. You've graduated from college and you finally entered the workforce, or you probably actually haven't really entered the workforce that you wanted to, because again, the whole college lie, and then the debt, and then the depression, and then you probably are drinking a lot with your friends and probably turning to like weed or like some other like recreational drug, and you're just like overall you're just sad and depressed, and you're like, oh, this is what life is. What life is for me. And maybe not that bad. Maybe it's just depressing. Maybe you realize that now that you don't have a kind of provided for you at every turn social circle, that you feel a lot more lonely in like your adulthood, and you're finally kind of like able to take stock of where you were and the whole rush of like your teens and early 20s, and you're like feeling sad and vulnerable, and like, maybe you got a job at a workplace where some old curmudgeon works, and maybe you can tell you probably aren't going to get along, but like you go ask him for help on how to do something at work, and like they're just a complete and total asshole to you and don't give you the time of day and treat you like shit. And that in that moment could be the one thing that like confirms to them that everything they ever were told through their teens and young adulthood was true, and be the thing that like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I mean, look, it's easy.
Like, be an adult. And I'm guilty of this. I'm not like just like pointing fingers. I'm like, I'm guilty of this, and I want to fall out of that ideology. Like, how can we sit here and acknowledge like what's been created, and then like just have at least no empathy for that? It frustrates me.
Yeah, I mean, it is easy to criticize millennials and Gen Z, which I've done as well quite a lot. But it's also important to remember, like, we are also criticizing.
Yeah, everyone's fair game. You can either criticize everyone or no one.
Sure,
but I mean, constant focus on like boomers fucked it up. Well, no, millennials fucked it up. No, well, Gen Z bought avocado toast. Like that's pointless. You know what I mean?
Right. So that's my point. Is like you can go back and say, well, how did they get this way? And you can blame another generation, and then you can say, well, but how did they get that way? And you can blame another generation. And the truth is, we Americans lost our way, and the constructive thing to do is to try and highlight and illuminate the way forward, the way to pick up the ideas of the Enlightenment and move forward, rather than this continual descent into socialist dystopia, which is the alternative that we're being offered. So, you know, it is sad. It's sad to watch kids.
What's the positive alternative that conservatives are offering, though? Because right now it's a bunch of
conservatives don't offer anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like there's no, like, I'm looking at this like man who has absolutely. I mean, granted, I know it's a lot to ask, but again, looking at people who are a little bit older, to have a shred of empathy for people who are at the most like confused point in their lives, and could like, that was when I started to see it. It was like my mid-20s, when your like higher level reasoning ability finally starts to solidify up there, and you're like, oh shit, there is a like long-term, again, like long-term rationale, things like that. That's white supremacy culture. Like those things start solidifying up there, and you're like, oh no. I honestly always just thought I was gonna like die at like I could not imagine life after like age 22. And here I am at like 32, like happier than ever.
But that's common, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah. So you're coming out of this like haze, like it's like you're finally becoming like sentient in this world, and you're like, well, maybe I'll like. I'm not saying that everyone's gonna have this ability for nuance, but perhaps like, well, maybe I was wrong about them, and then they're like, you try to reach out, and they're like, fuck you, you got blue hair, you like hippie, like. That kind of stuff, like that would confirm everything that they thought they knew, and like push them further away. Everyone's so quick to like just hate everyone for their appearance or just, like immutable characteristics. It's like shut the fuck up or get out of my way. Like I have no patience for that anymore, and I'm 100% guilty of it. Like, and I'm sure that I will be guilty of it again. But like,
I'm gonna go meta on you.
Yeah,
I have sympathy for that as well.
What's that?
Because the people who are making judgments like get the fuck out, blue hair. Like I also understand why they're in that place.
Yeah, for sure, right? But again, my threshold for empathy of like how someone got that way, and my expectation for someone having the capacity to I like, again, experience a just basic fucking empathy. That's all I'm asking for here. You know, someone who's seen the whole picture for a lot longer, I have a higher expectation on them than I do on someone who's
correct.
Like becoming sentient for the first time. I'm not saying I get it. I will make this. I will continue. I will continue to make this mistake repeatedly. But like I recognize it in myself a lot more often than I'm comfortable with.
Yep.
Like if you're discussing what like, yeah, I know we've been talking forever. Like
no, I was just gonna say I could talk about this particular subject with you for probably 4 hours.
Well, we've already been talking for like 3. God.
I know, I need to run and pick up my daughter.
Well, go get your kid. You know, dad. Hey,
I'm gonna.
Girls are better off when they have dads who show up. So go get her.
Yeah, I have to show up. But But I could continue this discussion with you. Like, let's try and continue this discussion somewhere else, if not today, because I think there's a lot to be unpacked here, because I can see
hours.
You have what?
I've had like 3 hours of sleep in the last 36 hours. So
oh,
I gotta go to
also
bed
you should
immediately after this. Yeah.
Yeah, you should go to sleep. But this is let's put a pin in this, because it is worth discussing, because there is a big generational communication problem.
Yes.
And I think part of that is because of technology acceleration.
Yes. And it's gatekeeping. It's that's what you expect. Again, it's like that. Like, I don't know. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about it sometime again.
All right.
I'm down.
Remind everyone where they can find you, Elle.
SomeBitchIKnow, Gab, Telegram, SomeBitchMedia.com, Twitch.tv/L is for the way. Or on here sometimes. Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining.
Just being a bitch on the
Elle.
internet.
Like I said, I could keep going. It's great to talk to you. Go get some sleep. Have a good night. Thank you for joining. Thank you to everyone for watching. And
yeah, it was blessed.
Yeah,
I kind of forgot we were even streaming. I was like, it's just interesting to think about it. You know?
I know. Sometimes we just forget and we keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. Well, bye everyone. Thank you.
Bye, buddy. Go get your kid.
All right. Later. Thanks for sticking around until the end. If you're new to Unsafe Space, check out our deep content library that includes discussions with everyone from James Lindsay to Brett Weinstein. And please consider helping to fund our work by visiting unsafespace.com/donate. You can find us on a variety of social media platforms, and you can find a community of like-minded individuals on our Unsafe Space Discord server, which is open to financial supporters at any level. We hope to see you there.
Warning. This is an unsafe space. Dangerous ideas have been detected. The content of this production is known by the state of California to cause unregulated ideation that may be harmful to bureaucrats. Association with the following individuals or tacos is strictly prohibited. Apropos of nothing, I was just wondering, how would you feel about another pandemic? Your president is in full control of his mental faculties. If you think about it, no one should be allowed to express opinions. But don't. Think about it, I mean. That's not your job. Thinking has been scientifically proven to be less efficient than compliance. Science, scientific, and scientifically are registered trademarks of the World Economic Forum. Unauthorized use is prohibited. Computer voice courtesy. Never mind, that last line is fake news. Please disregard it and return to your safe space immediately. There will be cake.